Steve-O is absolutely a legend. Being on Jackass for over a decade and all the stunts that he's pulled, as a doctor, I'm not even sure how he's still alive. But in this podcast, we have some really interesting conversations about his health, the injuries he's sustained, some unique projects he has coming up, including him getting double D breast implants. As an individual who spends so much time in hospitals getting treated for injuries, I thought he would be the perfect guest. Let's get started. I don't know how much you know about me, but I'm a family medicine doctor by training.
I understand that you are a legit doctor,
Yes.
a massive YouTuber, a sexiest doctor award winner. Yeah, it was a no-brainer for me to do this, so thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on. Obviously, a legend. I've been a huge fan growing up. I came as an immigrant from Russia, so American culture was very new to me. But Jackass was almost the beginning of that for me, so it's so cool.
Is English not your first language?
Correct, yeah. Russian is my first language.
It's pretty incredible, man. Like, what is it that allows some people to take on a second language and speak just undetectably well? You know, you would never know that English is not your first language.
I think it's age. People have different cutoffs, but they say if you come before age 10, you generally don't get the accent. I say it's probably a little bit younger than that, 7, 8. If you come before then, no accent, undetectable. For example, my sister, she's 9 years older than me. She has a heavy accent.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can hear definitely she's from Soviet Russia.
Wow.
Are you a sparkling water fan or flat water?
I do.
fan?
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know where I got that from, but now I'm obsessed with sparkling water. I think it's because my parents poisoned me with soda when I was a kid.
Right.
And then I'm like, I can't keep drinking soda. It's just not healthy.
Now, as a doctor, do you have an opinion about the health of sparkling water versus not?
I have a few tips when it comes to sparkling water. One is if you have issues with acid reflux, not a great idea to drink before bed.
Okay.
Because it bubbles, makes you burp. Some of the acid can leak out. Obviously very uncomfortable.
I absolutely have issues with acid
Really?
reflux and a long-running case of Barrett's esophagus.
Wow, okay. So that's like a precancerous state in your esophagus.
And I've monitored it very closely with my gastroenterologist.
Yes.
Regular endoscopies on a yearly basis. But my last endoscopy, the doctor said that I've stabilized and do not need another endoscopy for 3 years.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it because I heard you talking about that on Hot Ones and then you started pounding hot sauce and I got nervous for you.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So Barrett's esophagus usually occurs with individuals who have long-standing uncontrolled acid reflux. So have you had issues with heartburn and pain?
Yeah. I did, and I mean, just all of the alcohol. You know, I just remember. I remember times when I was still drinking when my acid reflux my heartburn was so terribly bad that it would wake me up in the middle of the night. I would go to the bathroom and just barf to just try to
Ease the pain.
Yeah.
Wow. And was there any ever blood?
Not that I recall.
The reason I ask is in individuals who do drink a lot of alcohol and have issues with their esophagus, sometimes you get tears. And you can have a tear in the esophagus or something known as esophageal varices, where you get swelling in the blood vessels of the esophagus and they can rupture inside and you could have bleeding inside. So I'm glad that never happened to you. But yeah, I mean, you're basically a professional patient at this point. I'm a professional doctor. You're a professional patient. Not because of that, but because of all your lifelong injuries.
Yeah, I've said many times that if all of my hospital visits were to the same hospital, I would be on that hospital's Christmas card list.
You would have a wing.
Yeah. I've definitely been to the hospital a lot.
You haven't?
No, I have.
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely been a lot.
What do you, is the, like, I read in your book that you were saying the worst stunt you ever performed was the jet fuel.
That was the most painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It was a frustrating question for for me, when people would ask, what was the most painful stunt, particularly because it was such a frequently asked question.
Yeah.
And, it frustrated me because there are really different criteria to the pain. There's the duration and then there's the intensity.
And the type.
Right. And I would lean towards the quicker it's over, the better. But it's just apples and oranges. And
Sure.
then when I suffered the 3rd-degree burns on 15% of my body and needed skin graft surgery, that actually checked both boxes.
The burning, the length.
Emphatically.
Yeah.
The duration and the intensity of the pain was like just in another world. I went on effectively a tour of burn units after that.
Wow.
And heard multiple times that people who have been both shot and stabbed as well as suffered burns will tell you burns are the worst pain of everything.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That's really bad. Did you feel the pain right away when the burn happened, or was this?
I did. It wasn't as bad the next day, and then each day thereafter, it just got like more and more unbearable. And then at day 5, I was like, okay, like I gotta. So
It's
I
progressive.
showed up in the hospital on day 5, and they're like, "What the fuck were you waiting for?"
Oh, you
know?
didn't go right away?
Yeah, I thought that it would just get better,
Okay.
And I showed up on day 5, and they explained that I needed emergency surgery.
Wow.
And the real pisser was that their next question was, "When's the last time you ate?" And I was like, "I just ate before I came."
So they're like, you
here.
have to wait 8 hours.
8 hours, and I had just refused the painkiller. Like, no, I'm a sober guy. I don't want any painkiller. And then I heard, "We cannot operate on you for 8 hours because you just ate." And I said, "Okay, give me the painkiller."
Do you know what they gave you?
I believe it was Dilaudid.
Dilaudid, yeah.
And my arms were so burnt, they put the IV in my neck.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had like a central line put in.
Yeah, and it's crazy being a sober guy in recovery. Like, how quickly that awakens the beast. Like, oh, like, are you in pain? Yes.
The receptors right away started.
Yeah, it's really crazy, and it was it had a real, like, sort of powerful effect on me. Like, I yes, I am still in pain. I need more. And then what snapped me out of it at one point, when I was asking for yet more, they said, we'll give you more, but it's getting to a point where I'd be concerned about your, getting off.
Yeah.
And that woke me up, and I was like, oh yeah, like
Got it.
I can't
What would
have
your advice be, either to yourself in that moment when they initially offered it, or maybe to someone else who's facing the same dilemma?
I mean, I could be in that situation 1,000 times, and 100% of the time I would take that painkiller because the pain was that bad.
Wow.
I'm kind of careful about giving out advice to other people, particularly as it relates to addiction.
Sure.
But I know that for me, in my 14 years of sobriety, I've never even filled out a prescription for any kind of a painkiller.
Amazing.
It's been all Advil and Tylenol.
Okay. Congratulations on that. That's a long time.
I've been in horrific pain and taken Advil and Tylenol together. Okay. But that's as far as I've gone.
Got it. Okay. And in severe cases, we do recommend that in the hospital.
It's unbelievable how effective both of those are, Tylenol and Advil.
Well, because they work slightly in different ways. So you kind of get a stacking effect of the medicine. And again, I don't recommend that to most patients because it's largely unnecessary for most pain.
Right.
But in certain instances, a big example of it is actually dental pain. And I've heard you've had a lot of dental issues.
Unbelievable amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your biggest risk that you say people face is by doing one thing that not everyone likes to do. What is that thing? Floss, yeah.
It's not a risk that everybody faces. It's just personally my biggest regret in life. Like, in the grand scheme of things, My biggest regret is that I was not diligent about flossing.
Right.
And I think I was genetically predisposed to having poor oral health, you know, in the teeth and gums department. But part of that, and really the worst part of that, is that I was one of those people who, I am one of those people who cannot get away with not flossing because not flossing led to the presence of a bacteria with it's a very distinctive odor when someone has this bacteria. And the crazy thing about it is that the person who has that bacteria in their mouth doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Doesn't know it. And I remember like, you know, being like in my very early 20s, maybe late teens, my mom would say, "Oh, your breath." I'm like, "Mom, I just brushed my teeth." She's like, "I don't care. Your breath is," and I didn't get it. You know, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And it was just years and years later that that a dentist said, "Hey, you know, you've got this odor in your mouth, like you know," and I became a diligent flosser. One time, I got in a van with all the Jackass guys. And Wee Man says, "Oh, dude, Steve-O, your breath." And Knoxville just says, "Saying Steve-O has bad breath is like saying Wee Man is short." It's just all the time. And got so many years of my life that it was disgusting for people to have a conversation with me because of this odor coming out of my mouth.
And did flossing solve that?
It did. I had a round of deep cleaning.
Okay.
And flossed ever since. Now I have a whole ritual at night. Water pick is how I start.
Yep.
Then I floss. Then I brush. Then I tongue scrape.
Okay.
Then I rinse with the fluoride rinse.
Okay, I love it. So you have like the full cycle going on.
Yeah, because I've just such horrific gum recession that really it's just an exercise in just doing everything I can to preserve what little remains.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for my poor oral hygiene with the floss, it's not just the, you know, the bacteria, the odor that was emanating from my mouth. It like I'd blame the hardcore gum recession on that too.
Yeah, of course. And I'm curious, when you started doing the hardcore dental care, did you at the same time get the Barrett's esophagus process started?
I had I had it already.
But you had it already.
Yeah,
the reason I ask is because a lot of times acid reflux will present with bad breath.
Wow.
So I wonder if like as a child,
dipping.
Yeah, were you like a kid having early symptoms and that's how you developed Barrett's esophagus from long-standing reflux?
I wonder, it sounds like it could have been, it could be a chicken or the egg thing here because the acid reflux presenting as bad breath. So like what came first, the Barrett's or the bad breath?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's crazy. And you know what's so perplexing is how it's like in our culture, like you'll tell somebody if they've got like a booger in their nose, you know, like if someone's got like you've got some food on your face, but like nobody, and myself included, can bear to say to somebody, dude, you know.
Well, because I think it's not as easily to be fixed. Like you can wipe this off, but if someone's breath's
right,
they can't really help
and
it.
I want to, like, when I smell that very distinctive bacteria smell coming out of someone's mouth, I have this inner dialogue. I want to tell the person, like, hey, like, you know, I don't want to be unkind, but I want you to know that I can smell this thing that I used to have a problem with, and the answer is to go to the dentist and get a cleaning and then floss, and a real tell is that if you floss and smell the floss, you can tell them.
Well, yeah, that actually happens to people that are healthy as well if they haven't flossed in a little while.
Right. Yeah. And now as I move forward in my life, I really predict that I'm going to have a whole new biggest regret, and that is going to be not having a very disciplined stretching regimen.
Interesting. But you are meditating still, right?
Oh, I'm meditating my ass off.
Are you on your streak still?
Yeah, over
What's today?
1,000 days.
1,000 days.
I think I'm like 1,006 days.
All right, so over 3 years now. You have it on the
Not
phone.
over 3 years. 3 years is going to be December 27th.
See, this is doctors aren't good at math. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I'm on day 1,006.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you log it religiously daily. Like
Yeah,
boom, boom,
for
boom.
sure. It's almost like the act of meditating, I could take it or leave it. It's getting credit from my app I do it for.
I love it. No, it's like a challenge that you've met each day.
Yeah, because I'm such an all or nothing, like no moderation guy. Like without like the app to keep the
numbers?
streak alive, like I would just fall off. Like
Interesting. Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know.
Like you love getting big viewership numbers.
Oh, I love that.
You
yeah.
love
any kind of attention, any kind of credit, any kind of like.
Well, first of all, you deserve it.
Well,
you've had a very unique life. Like listening to some of the podcasts you've been on before, your book. I mean, Ringling Brothers Clown School. That sounded like a trip.
It would have been a really crazy and compelling reality TV show. The whole process of clown college. I mean, it was 1997 when I went to clown college, so there really was no such thing as reality TV yet. But it was basically an elimination show, you know, like
Survivor of Clown School.
Yeah, 33 clowns were accepted after untold thousands auditioned, and then of the 33 clowns, all 33 graduated, but only 10 were awarded with contracts with the circus. So it was like kind of, you know, an elimination dynamic. There was a lot of backstabbing. Like
Really? So there was drama amongst...
Yeah, I mean, you might like... It would not be shocking if somebody got their alarm clock unplugged so that they would be like late and then have that be frowned upon. And
You know, I never thought I'd say this, but there's a lot of similarities to clown school and medical school.
Don't
because
doubt
there's
it.
people that like try and stab you in the back in medical school. They're called gunners. They actually have a name for
wow.
that. Do you guys have a name for?
We did not. We did not. But nobody was upset if a clown, you know, had some unfavorable situation they found themselves in.
Fair.
Yeah.
If you think you were coming up at a time like this, like early in your career,
great
and there's
question.
TikToks.
It's a great
Are
question.
you crushing it on TikTok right now?
Had I been born 20 years later, would I have found success in this new digital landscape? It's an interesting question. Because when I came up, there wasn't even the internet. You know, there was like literally they did not have the internet, and you know, I recorded my stunts onto video cassette tapes known as VHS tapes, and I would edit my footage by wiring two VCRs together. You know, how many of the people listening even know what a VCR is?
No, come on, they know.
It's
they
a
know.
video cassette recorder. And then I would physically walk my video cassette to the post office and mail it to whoever I thought might watch it. And that being the case, there was considerably less content to compete with. You know, there was a lot less noise to rise above. And you know, to answer the question, I don't know how I would have done with all of the noise to compete with and try to rise above, but I genuinely believe that I am such a persistent son of a bitch, such a rabid attention whore, that I just would have been every bit as tireless. And you know, I just like, I'm a tireless attention whore to the point where I think I would have risen above the noise no matter when I was born.
Okay. I think you would have definitely gotten shadow banned by these sites.
Right. Yeah, that's still a concern. That's, yeah.
The community guidelines violation check.
Right. Yeah,
because even I did a reaction video to the new Jackass movie talking about the medical situations that
Right.
could arise in each one of them, and it got like age gated. It got blocked.
Yeah,
18
I don't
plus.
doubt that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a copyright claim too from Viacom.
Yeah, honestly.
But then again, like by doing that, it's
Promoting.
clearly fair usage too.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you're adding commentary to it.
That's cool that you're aware of that, because a lot of people are like, no, don't ever use my stuff.
Right, right.
Fair use is not a thing.
Fair use is and what you're doing by analyzing it and giving your own commentary, you're changing the meaning of it,
Yeah.
and that's precisely what fair usage is for.
Exactly. And my thought is, I think you would crush it on these platforms if you were born 20 years later. Not that you're doing
Right.
amazing now, but I worry that with the state you were in at the time when you were younger,
Right.
with alcohol, with drugs,
Sure.
would you have gone too far for the views? Maybe that's just me speculating, but I'm curious what you think about that.
I don't know that there was any like limitations, and you
Then-
know, like I mean, there were like
Because the
I
world's
had
always
a-
on now. Like,
I mean, the camera was always that, you know, mystical, super, you know, like I worshipped the video camera is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know that I could have worshipped the camera or the footage or the audience like any more than I already did. So going too far for the views, I think that was going on very much. I really looked to the video camera as like a religious kind of a thing, you know. The human condition is such a terrible catch-22, such an awful prank on us. You know, we've got one instinct which is to survive. We've got one guarantee: we won't survive. So it's like, how do you handle that? Mortality is such a motherfucker. And some people turn to religion to try to wrap their head around their mortality, because heaven's going to be great and everything will be okay. You know, another thing is really popular is, you know, reproducing, because there's something about that defeats your mortality. You're going to have your legacy and your children. And then there's, for me, the video camera, like leaving footage behind. It was my message in a bottle.
well, it's your art.
Right. Like cavemen were scrawling stick figures on caves, like presumably because they knew that wall art would outlive them.
Yeah.
And leaving something behind of permanence, you know, to be a legacy. That's how, and I took it so seriously. So yeah, as far as like going too far for views, like there's no lengths that I wouldn't be willing to go to for that VHS video camera, because I viewed that footage as just totally permanent. That was my way to live forever.
What do you credit like your high level of insight to? Because you're very insightful as an individual.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I don't know. I certainly had a really good education.
In Miami?
I lived in Miami among many other places. I was raised in 5 different countries.
Yeah.
So I tried.
You were high school in England, college in Miami, right?
Yeah, high school in England and college. You know what little I made it through. I was in Miami.
So when you say you had a good education, which one of those are you referencing?
I would say that that the grade school and, you know, the high school that I went to, it was in England. It was called the American School in London, and you know, I was classmates with like the American ambassador to England's son, like all of these, like, you know, just it was an uber privileged school for like uber privileged people. And of my senior class, 80% of my senior class went on to Ivy League schools. And I was like effectively a loser for going to the University of Miami, which is actually like a pretty good school.
Exactly.
And you know what's particularly interesting in this context, speaking with you, is that my best friend, except I moved to and from London, England multiple times.
Yep.
This school that I went to high school at, I also attended fourth grade there, fifth grade, and sixth grade. And then I left, and then I ended up coming back. So the one guy who I've known the longest out of anybody in the world is my buddy Abdullah, who I met when we were 9 years old in fourth grade. We also graduated high school together. And Abdullah, like 80% of the class, went to Brown University. He graduated from Brown University with a 4.0, went on to Cornell Medical School, and then went on to become a pediatric surgeon at the Mayo Clinic.
Wow.
And literally invented methods of operating on unborn children still in the womb.
Wow.
Just came up with them and like introduced them into the world, and now it's like you can operate on children before they're born because of my buddy Abdullah.
Wow.
And we could not have taken more different paths.
Yes.
We just couldn't. And yeah, we've stayed in touch all these years.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What has he made? Like, I'm curious what a doctor who's your friend feelings are on what your journey has been like.
He's all about it. I mean, he's super supportive of me and what I do. I remember him being really emphatic, above anybody else. Like when you're like, if you wear a condom. Like really, like he's like, you don't want to know, you don't want to know. Wear a condom. Like he.
Okay.
Like really emphatically.
You're jumping off a building.
Right. I mean, he was, seemed to be privy to some information that made him feel very strongly about that.
Okay.
It's interesting too that he was my best friend when I was in fourth grade, like in high school. Like we were really close, and my dad was a super successful businessman, and as such, like as I grew up, the house my family lived in grew larger and larger, and I was just for some reason very self-conscious of that. Like I don't know why, but I was like,
you hated the wealth like that?
I was embarrassed of it. Like I don't know why, but I was embarrassed of it, like to the point where in high school my intention was to ride my skateboard to school. But that took some time, and if I overslept or was running late for any reason, then I was out of time to ride my skateboard to school. My dad would be leaving about the same time, so I would be forced to catch a ride with my dad, who was chauffeur driven and just sitting in the back seat reading a newspaper. And when that was the case, I would ride in the front passenger seat. And then when I got dropped off at school, I would hug the driver because I was like embarrassed of being a rich
wasn't everyone
kid.
else wealthy in this wealthy?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a very good point too. But I was just embarrassed of being a rich kid. I hated that, and I hated the idea of bringing like schoolmates over to my house because it was like a big ass house, and I was self-conscious about that. So I didn't bring a lot of people over to my house. I was always at Abdullah's house, and in fourth grade, I remember like Abdullah's family was super religious, Muslim family from Sudan. And I would join Abdullah in praying to Mecca and stuff.
Oh,
like
wow.
I was just like, all right, this is what we're doing. It's cool. Abdullah, very highly evolved, like super spiritual guy. And when he was at the Mayo Clinic, my comedy tour brought me to Minneapolis, where the Mayo Clinic is. And Abdullah and I went out to go get lunch. We were at like a bar playing pool because we used to play pool when we were kids. over this game of pool, I was expressing to Abdullah that I do not want to have children. And he was not understanding this. I said, like, my rationale is on top of my genetic predisposition to addiction, and just sort of like all of that comes with that. I look at the world and I see the increasing disparity of wealth. That the age gap has just really stopped being funny a long time ago. Like I said to Abdullah, when our parents graduated from a university, that meant placing in a career of your choosing. And then for us, like our generation, not quite so much. Like it was viewed as very helpful to have a university diploma, but it didn't guarantee you anything. And then now for our kids, I mean, it's just being bogged down in crazy amounts of debt. Like the opportunity in this world has dwindled and dwindled, and I just cannot bring myself to create a human being to fight against this struggle.
Wow. Okay. That's dark.
I think I take it seriously. I really respect the idea of it, and it is dark. Abdullah's response to all of this, I'll never forget it. It was so intense. He says, in Africa, with all of the poverty, the famine, the disease, do you think people are any less happy? My gut reaction, right, was like, well, yeah. Yeah, I do. But intellectually, I get what Abdullah was saying, which is that you can strip from somebody their, everything, really, their health, their, food, like you can take everything away. But one thing that you cannot take away from somebody is their capacity to love another. And it is from the capacity to love another, from the act of loving another, that happiness truly is derived. So to Abdullah's point, people are not less happy. If anything, they're arguably maybe happier in Africa.
Yeah.
But I still got the vasectomy.
Wait, not that day.
Not that day.
Okay. You didn't go from pool and this conversation.
Not that day, but I went through with the vasectomy Olympics.
Do you think you consider yourself more of a pessimist than an optimist then?
Probably.
Really?
Yeah.
I take you as such an optimist. You're like high on life right now. You're logging meditation hours.
Absolutely. But in my new book, and this isn't just for the sake of shamelessly promoting it, but this is something that I think is pertinent here. In the final chapter of the book begins with the question, in quotes, "Are you happy?" And then I go on to say that question just has always made me super uncomfortable. It makes me just I find it's one thing to say, like, hey, yeah, dude, how's it going? That's super casual but are you happy is a much more serious question. And my natural instinct, my gut reaction to that is like, if I think about it, no, I'm not. I consider myself largely gripped by anxiety, fear, and stress. And I believe that my natural default feeling position is just that everything's not okay, or if it's okay now, it's not going to be okay, and that like I've got to hurry up and do something to make it so that everything will be okay. I've got to hustle, I got to hurry, I got to work, I got to accomplish. And that's just my perpetual state. And the question bothered me because I feel genuinely that that's my perpetual state. And as I just kind of chewed on it and processed it, I arrived at no, I'm not happy, and that's okay because I don't want to be happy. I believe that it follows that to be happy is to be content. To be content is to not need anything. And to not need anything is to be fucking lazy and potentially a loser.
Interesting that you read into it that way.
Yeah, I mean, now I wish that I could work, and then have a switch that I can flip where now I'm not working and now I'm perfectly comfortable and happy, but I don't have that switch.
Sure. It's funny that you use the word content because have you ever seen a show, it's canceled now, I thought it was really good, called Magic City on Stars, about how the casinos were potentially going to leave Cuba and come to Florida in like...
I've not seen that, but isn't it crazy when you said it's canceled now, how powerful the word canceled has become?
Yes. I got to be careful. Podcast
like, what did the show do?
No, the show's a great show. Funding, I think it was an issue.
Okay.
But there was a scene where one of the mafia guys gets asked, are you happy? And he goes, howdy doody's happy. I'm contented.
Wow, okay.
And I'm like, okay. Kind of a similar message.
I mean, I would submit that happy and content are synonymous. I bet if you looked up in a thesaurus, you would.
Yeah. The way that I look at it as a doctor is based on research. And what we've seen is pessimistic people in comparison to optimistic people are usually more accurate in predicting the future.
I bet.
Because they are more realistic versus optimistic.
Sure.
But this is going to probably relate very well to you. Their health status is usually worse.
Okay.
Because of the immense worry and anxiety that comes along with being a pessimist.
Worry, anxiety, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
And
chronically,
right.
Like long term, it's not good for you.
Yeah, it's a pisser. It's a pisser, and I wish that on some level I could change it. I mean, I do take Zoloft.
Okay.
But that's like more than anxiety. That's I think that I shouldn't say I think. I know for a fact that if I'm not taking Zoloft, I go into dark places very easy. Mm-hmm. It takes only a minor disturbance for me to go straight into suicidal ideation, and it's super scary. I don't think that I've ever been particularly suicidal. I think that the travesty of all that is just the constructive, the time that's wasted on just fantasizing and just being in this dark, morbid place. And when I'm taking Zoloft, I don't ever go. You know, I'm taking Zoloft. I do not think about killing myself, and that's a bonus.
That's powerful. Well, not the bonus. That's intended.
It's intended. But and I don't want to come off like a Zoloft commercial, and I'm sure everybody's different, and but it's super helpful.
Zoloft is an SSRI. It's a type of medication that we prescribe for anxiety or depression. And what's interesting about those medications and how I speak to them with my patients before I prescribe them is a lot of patients have a fear that it's going to make them not feel things, like make them go blank. And the goal of it is just to tone down the intensity of those negative or very positive emotions, because anxiety is considered a positive emotion. It brings your energy level up. Like there's a lot of energy there. With depression, you're down usually, and as a result, you have low energy. So with a medicine like an SSRI, the idea is to take off the highs and lows to give you better control in those moments. And that's essentially what you're saying when you're saying it helps you have less chance of having suicidal ideation.
Yeah. Yeah, I swear by it. I really, I feel that Zoloft is very important to me. And, other than that, the kind of perpetual, like, scrunching of that I just feel like I hold all this tension and anxiety, and I kind of just consider that to be the fire under my ass, to strive to accomplish things.
Well, so many times the things that make us really special and do great things are oftentimes our weaknesses at the same time.
Sure. It's hard to imagine that that there's any such thing as other than that.
Yeah, like I have patients come in and say, well, I don't want to be less angry. That helps me keep my edge at work. And I'm like, well, can we find a way where it's not going to get you arrested and then you can keep working well?
Yeah.
And it's that fine line of always balance and coming back to that center point, which have you done any reading on Buddhism? I'm curious.
Absolutely.
Okay. What are your thoughts
There's
on
a
that?
bunch about Buddhism in this book. About how the philosophy of Buddhism, and Buddhism is much less of a religion than it is a philosophy.
Yep.
And that all of human suffering is caused by craving, where it follows that if you're in pain, then it's natural to crave for that pain to end or be lessened. And by the same measure, whatever situation we find ourselves in, if we're in some situation that's pleasurable, we will crave for that pleasure to last longer or to intensify. So, like the thrust of Buddhism, as I understand it, is that no matter what our circumstances is as humans, we will crave for those circumstances to improve. That's just the nature of our ego. That's the nature of us as an organism. And because that's the case, there is no state that we can be in where we're actually going to be satisfied. We're always just going to want more. And it's that craving of more and better and just to improve our circumstance that causes suffering. And so Buddhism, it points to accepting the state you're in as opposed to craving for it to improve. And that's easier said than done.
Yeah. How do you meditate? Is that sort of what you try and achieve?
Mantra based.
Okay.
So it's the same as the transcendental meditation, the Vedic meditation. They're the same thing, except hilariously, the transcendental meditation people and the Vedic meditation people are at like a low-grade war with each other.
Really?
But
Why?
They're doing exactly the same thing.
Okay. So just
100%.
claiming who does it better or first?
I mean, I'm not necessarily even sure the nature of the beef, but I just know that there's a low-level
There's meditation beef.
Yeah, there's a low-level beef because I started out with transcendental meditation in 2013, and I was not. It's like one of the funniest things in this damn book. I was not particularly like diligent about it, but I would do it. And the place that taught me transcendental meditation, my teacher asked me to, if I would be willing to, participate in like a fundraising effort to bring meditation to inner city schools to try to disrupt the school to prison pipeline. And I was all in. I posted this all over my social media. I raised all the money I possibly could. And that place, it's called the David Lynch Foundation. That taught me to meditate. They didn't follow me back on Twitter. They didn't even thank me for the money I donated. And I was so incensed by that. To spite them, I quit meditating. I was like, fuck that, I swear, dude. Which is so funny because the idea is it's supposed to be like a spiritual practice. And I'm just like, fuck them. I quit. And so, the following years, I really did feel that I was doing a disservice to myself by not meditating, but I still held that grudge. So I ended up finding a new meditation teacher who just happened to be like of the Vedic, and so this is where like I was like, wow, this is exactly the same thing they taught me last time, but like they're beefing with each other, and so it just helped me to nurture that grudge. And I got a new mantra, and now I do it every day.
Maybe I'm being overly philosophic with this, but when they say you ask God for patience, they give you a complicated problem.
Sure.
So maybe you wanted meditation, and they gave you this to learn that you really needed to find meditation.
I mean, who knows? who knows? But it's really fucking hilarious that that I managed to be so resentful at in this spiritual practice of meditating, and despite all that, now I'm just so thrilled that I have a disciplined practice. I know too that when I first started with the transcendental meditation, like you fall off once, and then it's like just really easy to just fall off altogether. And that's why I knew going back into it, like let me keep it on an app so that heaven forbid if I break the streak,
Well, hopefully if you break it, you still go back.
But I would be very worried that I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a fair concern.
Yeah, I would be very worried that I wouldn't. Okay. And my new meditation teacher, any meditation teacher, isn't going to frown on the use of a timer, of an app, of of an alarm, and my new meditation teacher has since come around. I sent him my screenshots, my app, and I get it.
Okay,
I get it. I'm actually his star pupil.
Wow. Okay. Because of the number of days.
Yeah, because I just don't miss.
Okay. That's amazing. That's like dedication.
Yeah, I don't miss, and I have an unshakable faith that my meditation practice causes the universe to conspire in my favor. It's an arguably outlandish belief, but I believe that the universe responds to effort, to acknowledge, to have a relationship with it, to plug into the force.
I don't think it's outlandish. I think it's very accurate.
You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
You can't.
I think even medically it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh my God, Abdullah was telling me about times when prayer healed fucking unhealable shit.
Well, that's why I'm very careful with talking about integrative therapies, because people say, oh, well, they mislead people to believe this is the cure.
Right.
And that's not what I'm trying to say with a lot of these therapies. But if you're not giving up traditional medicine that actually works and has proven benefits and doing your prayers, please, that's amazing.
Right.
Because we like to shit on the placebo effect in medicine.
Right.
Oh, that's placebo. That's placebo.
Right.
Why? It fucking works.
Yeah.
Like if I give 100 people a sugar pill and then these 100 people a real pill of pain relief, and I tell all of them that it's a real pain pill, 30% of the people that got the sugar pill will feel pain relief. Why would I not take advantage of that and allow people to have spiritual journeys?
It's a fantastic example.
Yeah.
Now, is it more than 30% on the real pill?
Oh, no. That's how we do our trials. Because you can never compare just does this pill work.
Right.
You have to compare it to a fake pill.
Right. You
That's the
control
randomized
for the experiment.
Exactly, yeah.
Dude, you reminded me of a situation again with my buddy Abdullah. My sister, her second child was born with both autism and Down syndrome. And I believe that it's common with children with Down syndrome. There was a hole
defect
in the baby's heart.
Yep.
And it was a super upsetting and terrifying situation. And I'll be damned if, after not hearing from Abdullah for like the longest time, no communication whatsoever, just in the midst of that situation, Abdullah called either me or my sister out of nowhere and said, hey, your baby's gonna be okay. And the hole fucking closed. Okay. That, I mean, it was like that crazy.
But it wasn't like day after.
It was I would have to call my sister and ask her. But that's when I started looking at Abdullah a little different.
You're like, all that praying we did early
Wait
on.
a second. Yeah, praying to Mecca when we were kids. Like, I was like, man, Abdullah, like, anything you want to tell me, man?
Well, no, there are spontaneous closures of a lot of these.
Sure.
Like, especially on the upper part of the heart, which is between the atrium.
Right.
But
yeah, it's not unheard of that that the hole closes. I think that's the less striking piece of that story. It's just that the
confidence.
well, the unsolicited call from out of nowhere with
How did he know?
The
Oh wait, you don't know?
I have no fucking clue. Like
And you didn't ask.
I think I did ask, and he was just like
I knew.
vague and it's like
You're like, what happened to patient privacy?
right. It's crazy.
Wow. Now, going back to something you said earlier, in feeling embarrassed by having wealth.
Yeah.
You've kind of lived your life in a way where you've experienced both ends of the spectrum.
Big
Incredible wealth. You were homeless for a period
Big
of time.
time. And I was, when I dropped out of the University of Miami in 1993, I was homeless for 3 years. And I mean, homeless is sort of I was more of a couch surfer. I think the difference between a homeless person and a couch surfer is just more of a sort of
You're a nomad.
A little bit of charisma helps you. Helps make the difference there. But yeah, I was very nomadic and I did not have a place of my own. And there was a point when I mean, dude, I knew that nothing I was up to and no news that I had to share was the type of news that was gonna like make my dad feel really happy about it. You know, like I had I just didn't have any I wasn't doing anything that my dad would have been proud of, and I kind of had too much pride to I just fell off the radar, which is just the shittiest thing that a kid can do. And I had too much pride to ask for help. I had too much pride to, explain my situation. I just fell off the radar. And during this 6 months of just not communicating with my parents, I entered into a medical study for money. You know, and as medical studies go, the more dangerous the study, the more they pay. So I went in for the most dangerous shit I could possibly sign up for.
Like what?
It was it was a medical study to test on people a drug that they were hoping to make legal to administer to pigs and cows, so that the pigs and cows would have more muscle and less fat. It was supposed to work in like an inverse way that steroids might work, but the purpose being so that they could slaughter the cattle and have a leaner meat to appeal to a more health conscious consumer.
Interesting.
And by the virtue of the fact that this meat would be consumed by humans, a trace amount of this drug being in the meat would enter the human body, and as such, if anything's going to come in contact with the human body, it needs to be tested.
Yes.
And it seems that the objective of this study was to determine how much the human body could withstand of this shit, which seems counterintuitive, but the goal of the study, the target that they were aiming to hit was for one of the subjects in the study, someone's resting heart rate had to reach 150 beats a minute. Yeah, that was the
Resting?
Resting heart rate, 150 beats per minute.
Whose resting heart rate is 100?
That's what it was, dude. And I remember the resting. I remember like there were only 6 of us in the study, and typically medical studies are going to have like way more than that. Yeah. But because it was considered a particularly dangerous study, they had a smaller number of people in it. And I remember like 1 or 2 of the guys just being drenched in sweat. Like on the day that they gave it to us, or there was one day when they did a blood draw on the hour every hour.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we gave blood like 10 times in a day.
I wonder if they're checking sugar levels.
Perhaps, I don't know. But they also had us on like the sonogram thing for our heart. This happened in.
Was it Anavar?
No, the drug was called racdopamine hydrochloride. And
Oh, you know the name of it,
oh yeah, I mean we knew the name of it at the time.
but like you still.
Oh yeah. I mean it's just like, I mean it was kind of a notch in my belt at that time. Like I was like, I'm gonna be a crazy famous stuntman. I'm wild. I'm crazy, and this was like just par for the course. Like almost as much.
Did you
as
document it? Like
I didn't. I did. I would have, but in my in my travels, starting out at the University of Miami, the video camera I had, those VHS sons of bitches, didn't do well in super hot cars. Like the rubber that the ribbon needs to go around, like fucking melted.
that sucks.
So my camera was rendered useless. But this happened. I was in that medical study in January of 1994, and. Like I got paid $2,000.
Wow, it's good money at that
It was
time.
supposed to be $1,200, as I recall, and they didn't get
Enough volunteers.
They didn't get enough heartbeats per minute. So they asked us, could we extend the study? We're going to give you more money, and then everybody said yes.
Wow.
So they were. It was the sonogram machine, which they'll look at babies in the womb with, imaging, and but they lubed it up and they had it on our hearts, and it was so fascinating because on the screen the oxygenated blood, leaving or coming or whatever.
Yeah, you would see the
like,
Doppler flow. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the sonogram or whatever, the sonar would detect the oxygen in the blood such that the blood coming in of the heart was one color on the screen and the blood coming out was another color. It was just fucking.
Well, the way that they do it is flow moving towards is one color, flow moving away.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one way or another, I was.
But it looks like a textbook where it's like, oh, this is the oxygenated blood.
Right.
This is the deoxygenated. Because no blood is actually blue.
Right. Here's the other thing too, is that there was so much free medical attention that we got in this study. I remember the doctor who was operating the sonogram thing, if I'm even using that term
The probe.
correctly.
Yeah, it was an echocardiogram.
Yeah, okay.
But it's the same. Yeah.
Right. The guy who was operating it and moving it around and looking at the image on the screen, when he looked at my heart, he said, "Man, what a squeeze." And this was the first time I learned that I've got like an exceptionally like powerful heart. And maybe take my pulse right now, like my normal heart rate normal pulse is like what, 72 beats a minute?
60 to 100 is a
I'm
range.
like 40 to 50.
Oh, is that because you're in great shape right now? Like, or that's
Everyone,
lifelong?
people jump to the conclusion that I'm in great shape. I'm not really in great shape.
Maybe it's because you had this racododon or whatever.
I mean, who knows? But I have a low ass heart rate.
You're like Captain America. You got the serum.
Yeah, I've got a low ass heart rate, and
Wow,
and throughout that whole study, the only time my heart rate went over 90 beats per minute was when that same doctor with the echocardiogram was telling me like stories about being in Vietnam and killing people or something. It was some weird one. I don't remember what it was, but it was some crazy like battle story, and he was like telling me some wild stuff, and that was when my heart pounded the fastest.
That's why you had a good pump there going on.
Yeah, and but what it sounded like was that the implication was that what a squeeze meant that I have such a low heart rate in the 40s and 50s because it just takes less. My heart is powerful enough to be able to do all of the circulation it needs to do without beating as many times.
Yeah, so the heart is a really complicated organ because a lot of what we think is good with regular skeletal muscle is not always good for our cardiac muscle. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have high blood pressure throughout your circulatory system, right? Your heart has to pump against that. So it becomes essentially diesel, right? Because it's constantly pumping against a higher pressure. That's actually bad. That your left ventricle, which is the lower portion of the left side of your heart that actually pumps blood to the rest of your body, that can become bigger, which is called hypertrophy of that area. And then as a result, it doesn't relax well. And the cardiac muscle, in comparison to most of the skeletal muscle in your body, needs to contract and relax well, both. It needs to be balanced. Because when the cardiac muscle relaxes is when it fills. So if it doesn't relax well, doesn't fill well, therefore that when you pump, you can actually have a non-successful pump, even though it's super strong.
Right.
Because it didn't relax enough to fill up.
Okay.
So isn't that weird, like about the heart?
Yeah. It's yeah, it's crazy. You know, I once went to the doctor for like a standard checkup to be cleared for some reality TV show. And the reality TV show in question was a mountain climbing show in Peru, where I found my dog from Peru.
Wow.
It was basically like mountain climbing with the stars, and it was going to be like more, physically demanding than your average. So in this case, they had me like on a treadmill, like, they had me like doing all this stuff, but it was a more, I think, comprehensive physical. And the doctor called up and he said, "You have pre-diabetes." Pre-diabetes. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird, and he says, he said, like, 'cause I'm not like an obese guy, but he said, "You are what we refer to as skinny fat. You've got fat on your organs."
Okay. Visceral fat.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Okay. There's a lot to unpack there from
Okay.
the medical side of things. I don't consider that great bedside manner, first of all. I have to be critical.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
It wasn't. I mean, the guy told me this over the phone.
Well,
He's like,
it also, like, he's jumping to a conclusion without probably knowing the full picture. Unless, did you do an ultrasound?
I did turn around and go to Dr. Drew to get more
info.
Like I went to Dr. Drew's medical practice and echocardiogram and he was like, "No, dude, you're fucking fine. This is bullshit."
So this is why I hate looking at lab tests and not really knowing the patient, because I'll give you an example. If you don't go fasting 8 hours like you had to do for your surgery, for the blood work, your sugar might come up slightly high, but that's normal because you're not fasting. So you're not pre-diabetic. You can't even make a diagnosis of pre-diabetes off of that one blood test.
Right.
You need multiple. You need to see that it happens, like successive blood tests. There's another blood test that we do called the hemoglobin A1C. This gives me the average range of your sugars for the last 3 months. So it's usually a better picture of what your sugar is like. And based off that number, we can say, oh, you're in the range of clear. Some people fall into the range of prediabetes and some patients are diabetic. Once you become into the diabetic range, that's for life. Even if you control it well with diet alone.
There was a vegan documentary that said that type 2 diabetes can be reversible.
So it's controllable. The fact that you've developed it puts you in the higher risk category because it's really just definitions.
Right. Okay.
So like we can argue the semantics of whether it's cured or treated. Like in reality, like once you hit that threshold, your risk lifelong goes up for heart attack, stroke, those cardiovascular diseases. So
is it true that 1 in 3 Americans born after year 2000 will develop diabetes?
I don't know offhand, but doesn't sound unreasonable.
I read that statistic and I found it staggering.
Yeah. Well, the reason a lot of folks develop type 2 diabetes, not everybody, because some people have genetic issues, other medical conditions that can lead to it. But it's from overconsumption of calories and poor calories, meaning not good quality ones. And as a result, if you overeat, a few things happen. Your sugar gets out of control because your body develops insulin resistance, where you have insulin, but it doesn't work in your tissues well because there's always so much of it that it becomes ineffective. And then you have people who develop actually fatty liver disease, where because of the high levels of triglycerides in their blood, high levels of cholesterol, their liver actually starts becoming inflamed as a result of the fat buildup inside the liver. So maybe that's what the doctor was mentioning, because he may have seen some liver enzyme elevation. But the way that it was explained to you was kind of garbage.
I'll never forget the phone call, and it was pretty brief, and it was basically what I don't think I mischaracterized it.
No, honestly, that's not out of what I hear from other people.
Right.
So that's disappointing. Do you have bad experiences with doctors? Like, are you ever like, screw this person?
I don't know that I have doctor trauma, you know. Well, then again, there was another pretty incredibly bad experience. Before I got clean and sober, and actually specifically in 2006, I was good buddies with Dr. Drew then. I was with him on his radio show Loveline quite frequently. Considered him a friend, and I was just a goddamn mess. I was very out of control with drugs and alcohol, and my family was kind of leaning on me, we're concerned about your lifestyle and this and that, and being an active alcoholic and a drug addict. My reaction was, I said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go get this checkup." Fully it was called the UCLA Executive Health Program, and Dr. Drew.
I'm not a fan of those.
Okay,
but no, go ahead.
Dr. Drew referred me to it.
Okay.
It was described to me as such an overwhelmingly comprehensive physical that they're giving you information that's just extraneous, and as such,
bullshit.
Not even covered by it's just not covered by any health insurance, because it's considered unnecessary. They're giving you so much extra medical attention. It's expensive and this and that. I heard about that from Dr. Drew, and I told my family, "Hey, I'm going to go into this executive health fucking physical, and it's going to be the most comprehensive thing, and if my results come back saying that I'm healthy, you guys can just get off my back."
That's why those programs are bad, because imagine it came up healthy and then you live this terrible lifestyle. But
I said, if I come up healthy, you can just get right off my back. And so I went into the thing. It was pretty full day of
testing,
scans, testing, and I got a phone call about the results, and the doctor said, "Hey, I want you to come in so we can talk about your results," which is right off the bat, super scary, because if you're okay, they'll just tell you you're okay on the phone. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, "Oh man, what's wrong?" And I'm just like, "Please don't let it be my wiener. Please don't let it." I just didn't want to hear that
we don't even have tests for wieners.
Right. I just didn't want to. I was just scared that it was going to be some weird sexual transmitted disease thing.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I go in there, and I'm like, I don't even think the doctor. I'm in his office, and I'm like, "Is my wiener okay?" And he's like, "Hey, your wiener's fine. It's your heart." He says he diagnosed me with cardiomyopathy. He said I had the heart of a 90-year-old man, and that I wouldn't live to be the age of 40 if I didn't do something or other. And this sounded to me like a crazy death sentence.
Alcohol induced, probably.
Yeah, it was. And I remember I went straight from there to Loveline. It was with Dr. Drew. I was on the radio. I was like, wow, and it was the Steve was dying episode, and then ultimately I went to a heart specialist, and it was not so much, borderline, not a big deal, and
so they overread the echo.
I mean, perhaps it was just evident how heavy my drinking was, and this was the doctor's attempt to sort of get through to me, and
sure.
So maybe I was over diagnosed somehow, but in any case, that was a pretty bad experience.
Yeah. So let's say the doctor did that. He overread it because he wanted to protect you.
Yeah.
Would you like that or no?
Well, I mean, by definition, an alcoholic, what the disease of alcoholism means is that you're powerless you've lost the power to choose. You know, like you got an alcoholic in front of the judge, and the judge says, you know, if I see you in here again, like it's gonna be prison. And then the alcoholic walks out and says, man, fuck, I'm going to prison. You know, like you can't do anything about it. You tell the alcoholic that if they drink again, they're gonna die. Like, oh man, fuck, I'm gonna die. You know, like it didn't do anything.
How would you have wanted them to deliver the news? Just fairly, just straight shot.
Yeah, I mean, like you've got a borderline case, like you're teetering. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that wouldn't have changed anything, but I damn well didn't change anything anyway. So,
well, that's why I was saying earlier that I'm not a fan of those executive health programs, because they're checking a lot of things that don't benefit from being checked, because a lot of times we can't intervene or shouldn't.
Right. So you're saying don't ask a question to which there is no good answer, or that you might get a bad answer to.
I like asking questions. Don't do tests and imaging that you don't have a plan with. And I'll give you a simple example of this. I had an 80-something-year-old patient who was bleeding rectally, and we were suspecting a tumor in her colon. And we said, you know, we should do a colonoscopy to see if it's that. And her response is, why would I do a colonoscopy if I'm saying that if there is a tumor, I don't even want surgery? And she's right. Why would we check for a tumor if she already knows she doesn't want the surgery?
I've got another example. My buddy Tony Hawk.
Okay.
He found out that this CTE condition with the concussions,
chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Right. He found out that there is like a gene, some genetic disposition for Alzheimer's, which if you have it or if you don't have it, I think if you have it, you are considerably more at risk of CTE. And he explained to me that when he found out this information, he immediately went to go find out if he had this gene, this Alzheimer's gene, which put him at risk for CTE. And where I'm coming from, it's like, hey, Tony, bro, like, we've already hit our heads, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's actionable.
I said that, so I said to him, because I was thinking about it a lot. Like, I've hit my head a lot. Like, do I want to know this? I said, hey, Tony, like, and thankfully he said he did not have the gene. But I asked him, well, what were you gonna do? And I asked him like considerably later. It was just on my mind, and then I like reached back out to him, like, hey, Tony, like, if you had that Alzheimer's gene, like, what was your plan? He's like, oh, I don't know.
Curiosity.
Right. So that's a case of there's nothing actionable about it, and what are you gonna do with the information if you have that gene? Like, I don't fucking want to know if I have that gene.
Yeah, that's why like a lot of these also send out home tests that check for certain genetic conditions I'm not a fan of, because a lot of times they're not checking for all the variants of a certain genetic situation. And as a result, people start making life planning decisions about it.
Right.
So I'm like, please see a genetic counselor, like speak to an expert on this. Don't just take a test and say, oh, I'm either all good or all bad, because you need some guidance as to how to read these results. That's why doctors are around. We're there to help.
Right. Okay, how about this? I believe I was in high school. 1991. You know, I was sexually active, and like everything I'd learned in school about HIV and AIDS was just top tier terror. And because I had unprotected sex, like, a couple times, I went to the family doctor and I was like, yo, like, doctor, I want, like, please test me for HIV AIDS. You know, I'm so scared. Like, I was just like freaking out about it. And the doctor said, nope, we're not going to do that. Like, he was kind of like, his position he was coming from was that, like, I was like a young guy, like, yeah, and I'm not surprised that you hate this idea, but he was like, just we're not going to ask that question because, you know, like, the doctor, because like, I don't know.
That's weird.
It's super weird.
And no answer given as to why?
It was just like, we don't need to know that.
What do you mean we don't?
Yeah, it's
Maybe
like,
then,
you're not going to like, I mean, maybe there was like, you don't fall into a high risk category, like, based on gender, sexual orientation.
maybe
like,
I was 2 years old then, so I don't know what medical things existed then, but now certainly we wouldn't do it.
Right. I mean, that's fucking fucked up as hell.
Yeah.
To think that like, I'm gonna, but then again, I had a lot of buddies that said there's no way to, as long as you don't get tested, you're definitely clean.
Comfortably, I'll give the medical advice that is wrong.
Right. For sure. And, I'm just glad that, for all of my years, navigating the minefield, that I came through unscathed.
Does your health insurance company hate you because you meet the deductible probably like that? Right? Because you probably cost them an arm and a leg each year.
I wonder.
Like especially filming Jackass and Wild Boys.
Yeah. That's workman's comp. So
that's true. So that's a different level of insurance.
When I'm on when I'm injured on a Jackass movie, I don't even have to produce a medical insurance card, and that's workman's comp. But yeah, I mean, there's been especially because in the more recent years of my career. Like all of my worst injuries have happened in now the last 6 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it age related?
I think perhaps age is a component, but it's just more of a question of trying to raise the bar all the time. Like you got to jump higher. So, yes, I'm getting older, and I have felt compelled to take greater risks,
Yeah.
so that's scary.
Oh, well, so speaking of taking greater risks, for your next comedy tour, you're going to do the Gone Too Far.
Yeah, that's my plan, yeah.
And you're going to show people stunts that you think that they will say you've gone too far.
Correct.
As a medical professional, do you want to tell me some of them and I'll tell you if you've gone too far?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's I've been very candid about my plan for breast augmentation surgery.
Okay, what is that going to entail?
It's just, I'm going to get double D boobs.
Okay.
And
do what with them?
Well, there's a few, I don't need to give away all my ideas, but the first thing that I intend to do.
Is it like a statement, like a political statement, or just as a prank?
Wait, like as far as a statement goes, I think there's a healthy dose of my body, my choice in there.
Okay.
Which I believe in. There's some just straight curiosity that as a heterosexual man who identifies as male, does just going and get a boob job all of a sudden mean I can't post pictures on Instagram with my shirt off? That's a question that needs to be answered.
Okay. So it's much in like when you went to your lawyer and asked for jail time.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of. It's
You're going to go to prove a point here.
Right. And, there's just like I think a lot of opportunities to mine it for compelling content and jokes. The motivation for it is, I picture that whole show, the Gone Too Far show, ultimately thematically to be an exploration of my experience confronting middle age. The deterioration of my body and in particular with the boobs. I was horrified to see in the mirror that I am officially developing man titties and have already distinct underboob. I've got dimples underneath my man boobs and lashing out at the God that allowed that to happen. I'm gonna make big old titties.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, you'll have back pain. I'll predict that.
Right. Okay.
So your low back's not going to be happy with that.
Gonna want to stretch even
Strengthen.
more important stretch. Yeah.
Strengthen.
But I'm not planning on keeping these boobs for more than 3 months. So it's gonna be kind of like I'm
surgically. That's going to be tough.
I've been told that after 3 months, there's more stretching, and it's going to be more difficult to restore me to normal.
Interesting. I wouldn't even know how to comment on that. How did you find a doctor though?
I had as a guest on my podcast of botched fame,
Okay.
Dr. Terry Dubrow.
Got it.
And he said that he would not put in the implants, but they'd be happy to take them out and do whatever little bits that need to be done to restore me to normal. And perhaps where I end up will resolve the man titty problem. Who knows? I can only hope.
My worry is, as a doctor, is going to be that you can develop other problems surgically, but I hope that's not the case.
Right,
So I'm not wishing that upon you by any means.
Yeah, for sure. Now, there's, of course, different types of breast implants. Like under the muscle is a more involved situation where you can have, what's that condition? It's capsular contracture.
You looked into it,
yeah,
the risks.
Yeah, but if you're not under the muscle, then the capsular contracture is less of a concern, right? And so just the over the top, kind of is more of a superficial job.
I'm gonna venture a guess that you're gonna get them put in outside of the U.S.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
that sounds like a great time.
I just don't know if they would do it in the U.S. I don't know.
Dr. Terry Dubrow said that they'll be lining up around the block.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
So maybe I take it back.
That this is gonna be not a problem to find someone to put them in. Now, the over the top thing, that approach to it, it feels somewhat less invasive, a little bit more of a superficial procedure, and allows more easily for if I've got a colored liquid, is it just saline in that situation, or is it silicone?
It depends. I don't know. I'm not a plastic surgeon.
Because we could perhaps, if it's like saline or something, it could be dyed a certain color, and I have just this crazy vision of a metal Capri Sun straw or something.
Well, no, I don't think if they were easily that penetratable, that would be a problem.
Okay.
Yes, I hope that's not.
We were also talking about just like an endurance thing, like what will it take to break it? That's an
I've seen
idea.
videos of that. Do you think?
Yeah, Dr. Terry Dubrow said that they had a silicone implant, and drove a car over it and everything.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, they are terrible.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll get pushback by folks, maybe of the trans community, making light of the situation, or no?
I don't. That was my fiance's concern about that, and what I told her, I said I just don't I'm not coming into this with any mean spirit. The spirit of what I'm doing it for is not hateful or negative at all. And I likened it to the homoerotic humor that's been such a part of Jackass and my other show, Wild Boys. We were never trying to put down or mock the homosexual community. If anything, we were proactively seeking to make people uncomfortable who are the kind of jock dude, oh man, no, that would be our target. And in this case, I'm not out to mock or target anybody of the trans community. If anything, it would be much the same. I love the idea of somebody who's particularly transphobic being made uncomfortable by me doing this.
Yeah.
So that's all I know. I can only speak for
Your intent.
For my intent, for the I think there's a larger message of my body, my choice, which is something that I love to. But yeah, it's just I'm not doing it to make anybody feel bad.
Sure.
That's never what I That's the one thing I never want to do is make people feel bad.
Yeah. I think that shines through. And you know when it shines through the most? I was at Harvard yesterday on a panel speaking on health policy, and there was an infectious disease doctor, and I mentioned that you're coming on my podcast today, and he goes, "Oh my God, I was just showing Jackass to my 8 and 11-year-olds." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, it's for them," but like he was ecstatic. And you know, you would think doctors, very highbrow, Abdullah,
Right, for sure.
right? Would be maybe saying, "Oh, I'm not going to show that to my children yet." But look,
I mean, I have maintained for the longest time that I'm proud. I'm very proud of Jackass for how wholesome it is. And I know it's counterintuitive to describe Jackass as wholesome, but I feel strongly that it is because there's just nothing mean-spirited about it. You know, you see a bunch of guys giving themselves and each other, you know, a terrible hard time. You know, you could liken it to torture, just, you know, self-destructive, you know, self-harm. But we're such attention whores. We're begging for the attention. We're such willing participants. We're so happy to be doing it that makes it permissible how destructive some of our behavior is. And beyond what we're doing to ourselves and each other, there's just nothing mean-spirited about it. Like we're just doing it to make people laugh and spread joy.
yeah, I think you hit it right on the nose there. It never felt that there was a bullying aspect to Jackass.
On this most recent movie, like I felt that the cup test went a little bit far. Like that, like that might have edged into the
bullying aspect.
Yeah, that was, and maybe it's just because I was there for all of it, but yeah, it doesn't. The spirit of Jackass is just super positive, and I'm proud of that. You know,
That's awesome that you guys have that camaraderie. Are you still close with everybody
For
in the
sure.
gang? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. There's a lot of like YouTube channels right now that are struggling because there's groups of people who do well on YouTube. They blow up together. And then someone in the group says like, "I've been really bullied in this group for the views and not at my expense."
Right, okay.
Versus you guys never had that. Like, it seems like you guys are all very together.
Right.
You really feel like a family. It comes through.
Yeah,
the
when you
content.
say that, I can think of a distinct example of that. And yeah, we're all pretty willing participants. Our buddy Danger Aaron, who was the subject of the cup test, has definitely been, you know, I would even characterize as bullied. But I'm proud to say that I've really never bullied him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about your comedy, your
Okay.
stand-up comedy, because you said you've gotten flack for being a comedian and a superstar, but you put in the hours.
I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to say superstar, but yeah, whenever somebody comes from one area of the world of entertainment into stand-up, they get, you know, some side-eye action, you know,
A little
like
gatekeeping.
yeah, a little gatekeeping, and it's not been like a particularly pervasive thing, but certainly there have been examples of people who are even outspokenly opposed to the idea of welcoming Steve-O into the world of stand-up comedy, and I'm not going to say that didn't bother me, but I'm very happy to say that did not stop me.
Did it encourage you?
I would say to an extent it encouraged me, for sure. But like I'm just a guy who's all in no matter what I do. I do not know moderation, and like I don't know how to not just give something everything, and I think that as it related to my experience doing stand-up comedy, like this is kind of the results speak for themselves, because if you don't belong there, if you don't belong in the comedy club, if you're not taking it seriously, if you're not delivering a show that people are enjoying, then you're not going to come back. You know, it's gonna be short lived. And in the comedy club circuit, I for 11 straight years kept making the loop and coming back, and that indicates that I did belong. You know,
Yeah.
and so the proof is there, and I've since graduated from the comedy club circuit to performing in theaters and traveling on a tour bus, and dude, I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is it fair to say that you're become a crossover comedian, or do you not like that term?
I don't mind. I don't mind one bit if someone wants to call me a crossover comedian. I would just say that I'm an entertainer. You know, I'm an attention whore through and through. And I spent 11 years in comedy clubs developing the craft of storytelling and joke telling. And over the course of that time, I found that my worlds converged. And now what I'm doing with my comedy is a multimedia affair. So you've got like me telling stories, and then at the end of the story, I pay it off by actually showing a video of that story happening.
So you've hybridized your entertainment.
It's good. I've really stumbled upon something like truly unique and original. And you know, the stunts that I did for my current tour, which is called the Bucket List Tour, across the board, like just, I mean, you'd be fascinated by the fact that two of the bits in my bucket list tour, two items on the list, which each have their own respective videos. One of them involved a medical professional in disguise administering stolen general anesthesia drugs while I was riding a bicycle. And the drug was called etomidate.
Okay.
Because when we were doing our research and speaking with anesthesiologists, they described an epidemic among just about everybody who has access to propofol, rampantly abusing it like Michael Jackson did. They said, but there's another general anesthesia drug called etomidate, which they affectionately refer to as vomidate because it makes you so nauseous you might barf. It would be like overall physically uncomfortable. And they said, dude,
It's like a deterrent, basically.
they said nobody would ever use etomidate for fun.
Okay.
And I was like, green light, go.
So you're keeping always that in the back of your head. Like, I gotta
Oh
make
yeah,
sure.
for sure. I got to protect my sobriety. The bit started out as a foot race, which would start on your mark, get set, and they shoot tranquilizer darts into our butt cheeks. At which point we sprint for distance. But finding out that involved ketamine was you know, that shut that down right away. And then another one I did for the bucket list. It's so great that you get to see these videos like actually in the theater on the tour. Because I was so concerned. And after the etomidate one, I was like, man, they said nobody would use it for fun, but I thought it felt great. And I was like really like questioning my sobriety after doing that stunt. And I felt that was just a catastrophic failure. And a guy who introduced himself to me as a doctor said, I've got a way you can finish your anesthesia bit without worrying about your recovery. He says, I can put a 4-inch needle into your spine, inject a drug into your spinal cavity that will straight paralyze you from the waist down, and we can make that happen while you're in a full sprint.
That sounds dangerous.
Oh, dude, complete like the medical
Needle.
The medical. Well, no, I mean, he took out the 4-inch needle, and then I went sprinting.
Got it.
Yeah,
Scary.
I had 10 seconds to run my ass off before I collapsed like a baby giraffe being born, and that fucking shit was so awesome. That shit was so awesome. So that's another one of the. So this is sort of like, coming up with the most just outrageously over the top ideas for stunts, filming them, making an act out of it that incorporates stand up and the footage. Like that's something that nobody else is doing, and anybody doesn't like me doing that, they can suck a fart out of my asshole.
No, dude, like I relate very strongly to you in this sense because something you probably don't know is I've become a professional boxer over this last year.
Wow.
And a lot of people say, oh, you're a crossover YouTube star now becoming a boxer like all these other people. And, it takes a lot of guts to get in the ring, to be sparring
time.
with other fighters. My next fight actually in 4 weeks is against a UFC MMA fighter.
Who's
Chris Avila. He's of Nate Diaz's camp.
Okay.
And that's going to be a serious fight for me. But a lot of people will, like Showtime, it's on Showtime pay-per-view, and Showtime posted our poster, and all the comments are brutal.
I can't even speak to that because I'm still jammed up over the fact that a doctor is pursuing boxing. That's like the most counterintuitive. That I file that under oxymoron.
I think I've lived my whole life also as an oxymoron.
Right. But, just to.
Do you think it's dangerous? Is that why?
I'm
not debating if it is.
My concern is the repeated. I think that we've learned, like factually, that boxing is way more fucking dangerous than MMA. And the reason why I believe, we've just seen it, like nobody dies in MMA. It just doesn't happen. People die in boxing all the time. And it's like, it's brain trauma. And I think that I have an analogy which I think is accurate, which is that in today's world, CTE is a big thing with helmets, or with football. They're wearing helmets, crashing their heads all the time. And I suspect that back in the day of the leather football helmet, that CTE was not an issue because all they had was a piece of fucking leather on their head, and as such, they didn't bang their heads together so much.
Yeah.
But now, because the helmet, the modern American football helmet is it's like it allows you to feel like you're hitting your head with impunity. So it's just all crash with the head, and that's what the problem is. And then now we take that dynamic to boxing, and the boxing glove, the 10-ounce boxing glove, every bit like the football helmet, it allows you to throw your fists with impunity. And the weight of it and the impunity for your hand, it's like, you almost feel like you can get hit with it with impunity, but you can't. It's too heavy, and it's whereas with the 4-ounce glove, it's or heaven forbid bare knuckle. You're gonna be a lot more conservative with your bare knuckles than and even with the 4-ounce glove, much like with the leather helmet in football.
It's true. Repeated trauma in boxing, like the repetitiveness of getting hit in the head, is the issue. That's why I don't plan to do this for a long time. Like maybe I got another year left in me, so I'm not doing this for a lifelong thing. It's my final hoorah in my early 30s to say I tried to be a pro athlete.
Super cool. And I I've been knocked out completely unconscious a handful of times in my life. But what scares me more than anything was, early in my career when I started touring, I had this live stage show. Every time I came out on stage with like a 12-pack or a 24-pack of Budweisers, and my entrance onto the stage was always bump, bump, hitting my head with the beer can until it exploded. And then I would take two and hit them both and explode them. And then, dude, embarrassingly, after I got sober, in comedy clubs, I'd come out and do it with carbonated water, like banging my head. And it got to a point where, I felt dizzy getting out of bed in the morning. Not good, and just like so much repeat. It's precisely what you said. That repeated, not the biggest hit, but the repeat. That it was so repetitive that stupid act of breaking cans on my head is what I point to as by far my biggest concern for my own brain and CTE situation.
I heard someone say in similar vein of what you're saying, that the best safety feature to put on a car would probably be to put a spike on the steering wheel.
Ooh.
So that you're like, oh, I got to drive careful.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. I like that.
Right? Instead of an airbag, you put
Yeah.
not a safety feature like that. You put a threatening feature on it.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to be really careful when you drive.
Yeah. You ever have guests say that they feel like they've been in a conversation with Bradley Cooper?
No. No, but
he's got
this
this strong resemblance to Bradley Cooper.
Wow. Okay. I've never gotten
Very handsome guy.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like that spike on the steering wheel. That's killer.
Yeah, that's not mine. I can't take credit for it.
Yeah.
But, who, if you were going to do sexiest jackass alive, who's the cast member?
Knoxville is always going to be that.
Yeah?
Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten where we were without like him being the face of it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. It'd be tough to go second after that,
Okay. Lots of competition. You guys would fight for it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, you get into a real fruit basket of apples and oranges, and like it's gonna be so largely subjective and up to someone's taste.
Before I get to my little quick lightning round of questions, I gotta ask: you've accomplished so much. You've inspired so many people. Even from your Joe Rogan first episode, the amount of people that reached out to you, thanking you for how honest you've been with your journey. Are you proud of all this? Like, this is amazing.
Well, for sure. For starters, thank you for the kind words. I remember my first my first real Joe Rogan episode was heavily focused on recovery, and there was, I mean, just the staggering number of people who that reached is. I mean, it's intense, the audience there. And I did get a great amount of feedback from that. For that and anything related to recovery, I think you got to be careful about using the word proud. It says in our recovery literature that there's a reason why pride leads the procession of the 7 deadly sins, and that you want to be careful about being proud of things and try to focus more on being grateful for things. We're not it doesn't serve us to be proud of our recovery. It's much more helpful to be grateful for it. And so if I've been able to inspire people or help people, that's something that I'm grateful for. But, you gotta even be careful about you get a little bit of ego, your ego being involved in I help people, I help people, you gotta be good.
But you deserve it. Like,
we
if it wasn't deserved, I would say, yeah, I agree.
The thing about recovery is that we keep what we have by giving it away. If we try to help other people, achieve long-term sobriety, then that's the number one thing we can do to preserve and protect our own sobriety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wasn't just talking sobriety. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
from your career-wise.
I've been super, super, it confounds me at a career in entertainment is inherently precarious from the onset, let alone when your art is what the fuck I do, and then to have longevity in entertainment is very elusive. So, to be, more than 2 decades into a career the way that I am, it would be an absolute lie to say I'm not proud of that, but I'm just overwhelmingly grateful for it.
Yeah. You've done amazing work, and I look at all the stuff that you've done, and it actually drives me to say, look, I got to work hard. I got to continue working and learning from individuals like you. So
it's so funny.
I thank you for that.
When you described the boxing, you said you spoke of yourself as a YouTuber, and I found that a little bit odd, considering that you're, a practicing physician.
It's weird.
You have a medical practice, and
Well, that's the bucket I fall into in the entertainment space. Like, yes, I'm Dr. Mike, but when I'm in the boxing ring, he's a YouTuber.
Okay.
Yeah. So that just I think it's because I don't know if you're familiar with like the Jake Paul and Logan Pauls of the world. They've paved their way into that YouTube boxing space, and that's why I'm sort of put into that bucket.
It's yeah, I mean, it really has put a spotlight on the financial compensation of combat sports. We'll say that.
Yep.
And it's very interesting how it's all playing out. And I just love combat sports, man, particularly MMA.
Awesome.
I love it.
Well, yeah, if you want to come to the fight, it's actually, I'm fighting on Jake Paul's event.
Oh, cool.
I'm his undercard. So
on the Anderson Silva thing, it's October 29th still?
Correct, yeah. Yeah.
I'll be in Canada, but I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, that would have been epic. All right, so let me give you the lightning round here. Okay.
That makes me very interested in watching that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I hope I don't let you down. I trained this morning really hard. I'm running tonight as well. So
cool.
The training doesn't stop. Okay. Lightning round. First question. What's a weird thing your body does that not everybody else's body does?
Double jointed.
Oh, okay. And
how's this one not going?
Oh. It's become arthritic.
I was going to say double jointed or arthritic. Yeah.
You know what's hilarious?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
I can.
You have good control
I
of
can
the.
bend. I think that counts as double jointed too.
Okay. You know, it's funny. My first guest was Cal Penn on this podcast from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Okay.
And he did the same exact thing. So it's interesting that my first two guests said the same.
I'm your second guest?
Yeah.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, the podcast launched today.
Epic.
Today.
Congrats.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's doing really well. So this will continue the streak.
Nice.
What's one stunt you would do if we could guarantee you wouldn't suffer any medical consequences? So you feel the pain, but I, as a doctor, have the.
Ooh. God, there's a lot. I mean, first stop Niagara Falls.
In a barrel.
I mean, I don't know. I was obsessed with that idea for some time, and my jackass comrade Chris Pontius got me off of it, and saying one thing. He said, "Dude, it's been done. It's been done." I was like, yeah, you're right." But yeah, there's like I've got a fair amount of anxiety and just pure will to do something that I call the crash capsule, where it's just effectively like kind of a survival pod that I'm in, if not like just a roll cage with a 5-point harness that like a seat lives in, and it just goes like rolling down the mega ramp and off the launch and over a waterfall, like hit by a car, like
like a Simpsons episode.
Yeah. And when it comes to like high impact, throwing your body around, like falling great heights, and it's fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go to town on the crash capsule.
All right, I'm gonna make it happen with my miracle invention at some point. What's one silly thing you wish you could change about your body? I guess that you're gonna get implants, right?
That's a silly thing, and it's gonna change.
Okay, so we answered that one. What's one food you don't like, you wish you did, and one food you do that you wish you didn't?
A food I don't like. I don't know that I wish I did like it, but I just can't do raw onions. Raw onions bum me out.
Okay, probably also not great for the Barretts.
Okay, there you go. So I'm glad I don't like them.
Is there any food you like that you wish you didn't?
I mean,
guilty pleasure.
I like. Does anybody like not wish they didn't like candy?
Which candy? What's your go-to?
Just sugar. Like I have like terrible trouble with sugar.
Okay.
I'm in and out of a food program. I've actually since June 4th, I've been good about no obnoxious sugar.
Okay, so sugar. Which stunt do you think brought you closest to death, not pain?
I think I was in legitimate danger of the bends on a scuba diving thing. Just kind of ignorant, and our underwater cameraman like grabbed my fin, and by the time when we got up to the top, he was super exasperated. He was just very angry. He said, "You fucking almost died, and I almost died trying to save you."
Wow.
Like I had just been, kind of blissfully, ignorantly and I was like, dude, they told me the sharks were on the bottom.
Yeah, no, the bends is serious if it happens.
Yeah. So, I understand that was like genuinely.
Yeah.
I think it's a anticlimactic answer, but
No,
I
it's
think
true.
that's-
But your blood literally begins to bubble. So like
Yeah.
that's a problem. Last but not least, what's your favorite stunt you've never been allowed to do?
My favorite stunt that I've never been allowed. So I like my ultimate like wish list.
Do you have to clear it with the insurance company of like the shoot?
Oh, I mean, no, I have been pretty reckless in that.
Okay.
And whenever like MTV would say no, like we won't give you permission to do that, I would typically just turn around and do it on my own.
Okay.
And like in the early days of my career, I had a like a Too Hot for TV DVD series
Okay.
where I just found a home for all the footage that they wouldn't show and went out of my way to shoot footage that they wouldn't show. And I put it out on my own. And then now with my like my bucket list tour, and then again with the Gone Too Far, like, oh, I can't do it for Jackass. Okay, cool.
You do it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like the And One Street Ball. Like, do you remember that when that came about?
No, but there's a
Documentary.
Netflix show.
I just watched it. Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. Well worth watching.
Okay, good. Then I will add that to my queue.
For sure. Cool.
All right.
Dude, thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming.
dude,
You're
for
a
sure.
rock
Thank
star.
you.
I appreciate you and continued success on Gone Too Far.
Yeah.
And all your ventures.
And everybody grab my book.
Yes.
Available everywhere books are sold.
And podcast, we need all the
Wild Ride
subscribers to come.
Podcast.
Wow, Steve-O was an absolute blast of a guest. I had a great time talking to him, but now I get to answer your medical questions. Remember that if you do leave a 5-star review, which is incredibly important to help this podcast, you can, in the body of your review, ask me a medical question, and I'm gonna try and get to some of them right now. So let's start with the first one here. CC Gomez asked, I've been boxing for the last 2 years and noticed my wrist stability seems to be getting weaker. Any explanation as to why and what preventive measures I can take to avoid injury? Is this a common phenomena for repetitive movement sports? CC Gomez, when you have a ballistic activity like boxing going on, where you're making contact in unpredictable ways, because when you're punching a human body where there's elbows, there's ribs, you're never gonna get a clean punch. You're always gonna land at a somewhat different angle. And when that happens, you have a higher rate of injury, especially of the wrist, which tends to be one of the weaker joints. Now, exercises for this really focus on wrist strengthening, arm strengthening, like elbow work. But in reality, if you're noticing continued weakness, a few things need to happen. One, you probably need to take a break from boxing to figure out what's going on or to see if it just improves on its own. And then B, go see a doctor. Have them perform a few special tests. See where the problem is coming from. The last thing I want you to continue doing is boxing if you have something like a fracture going on or a torn ligament. Next, we have Samantha Blocker. I used to work in the OR and love everything about the human body and medicine. I'm currently a home mom raising my 2 babies, really cute. I wanted to stay up to date on the latest. Where would you suggest I find quality and accurate articles or resources of the latest research being done or new procedures happening or newest medical guidance? Okay, there's a lot of questions there, Samantha, and all really good questions, actually. I really like using the general organizations like the WHO, CDC for the majority of my guidance, the National Institute of Health. But there is a great organization. I'm actually going to look it up right now. Okay, it's called familydoctor.org. There's a lot of information about diseases and conditions, prevention and wellness, family health, and resources for you. There's even a symptom checker, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's a great website. So visit familydoctor.org, again, run by the American Academy of Family Physicians. Flower12 Girl 34. Why are some kids prone to chronic ear infections? I had this issue as a kid and had to get tubes put in my ear. My husband, Joe, and I love you. Shout out to you, Flower12 Girl 34, and Joe, appreciate your support. Chronic ear infections happen because of the shape of ear canals, the size of ear canals, immune system health, and also immunizations. Children who are not fully immunized have higher rates of infections because they're more susceptible to certain types of bacteria. So it's hard to answer why specifically your kids seem to be more prone, but this is a great question to bring up at your pediatric visit or family medicine doctor visit, because doctors love answering questions when they know exactly what's going on. They can individualize the advice directly to you. Mia Ashley asks, what are the benefits of cupping therapy? Now, I've actually had cupping therapy done to me. I don't think it's a miracle cure. I think a lot of things that it's being used for right now is not evidence-based. People say it pulls toxins out, all these sort of miraculous things that don't really mean anything. Where I like it for is to bring circulation to an injured area, perhaps loosen up some myofascial restrictions. Because remember, your body has one large fascia that connects your entire body. This is that layer, that thin layer that sits below your skin and really prevents your body from falling apart and your organs from falling out. So as a result, restrictions there can cause pain and discomfort. I have seen cupping therapy work sometimes for that, but again, ignore the miracle cures. Dr. Von Bsch. Is it healthy for a teen, 14 to 18, I'm assuming that's the age, to have abs? Is it healthy? I wouldn't say it's unhealthy. I don't think it's mandatory. I think as long as you're at a healthy weight, you're eating healthy, you're sleeping well, that's more important than actually looking at whether or not someone has abs. If you enjoy working out, keeping a low body fat, I think it's great. I don't think it's problematic. Tristan Batts, how would you advise a patient with low vitamin D levels? Well, it would depend on a few factors. Is my patient having symptoms? How low is their vitamin D level? What led me to check it? And are they already supplementing with vitamin D? Because if a patient has a true vitamin D deficiency where their vitamin D level is like 10, absolutely I would recommend supplementing. But there are certain foods like fatty fish, eggs, some dairy products that do contain vitamin D, and I would probably strive to increase those as well. Nikki V, does organic food matter when cooking non-GMO? Non-GMO, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think that really means anything because GMOs have not been proven to be harmful to your health by any means. In fact, they've been proven to be quite safe. And does organic food matter? I think in certain fruits and vegetables where you know that they use really harmful pesticides, it might be helpful, but it's not the end of the world if things aren't organic. Like, I don't only buy organic produce. I'll get it if it's available, but it's not always the best. All right, well, that brings us to the end of today's questions. Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Can't do it on Spotify, but you can give us just 5 stars. I appreciate you, and as always, again, stay happy and healthy.
I guess my parents would say that they showed their love through, housing me and feeding me and through getting me into school, etc. Whereas, the actual affection of just like hugging and saying that, I love you, like I definitely missed out on that.
KSI is a legend in his own right. He is not only a massive YouTuber, entrepreneur who recently just started Prime alongside Logan Paul, individual whose music is off the charts, someone who started a restaurant business. Oh yeah, and how did I forget that he's also one of the top YouTube boxers? We had a lot of juicy things to talk about. My criticism of who he's choosing to fight in his YouTube fights, who he thinks is the most overrated YouTube boxer, his health struggles, his conversations with his therapist, his love for gaming, his one true person who may surprise you. Please welcome KSI to the Checkup. Let's get started. JJ.
Yo.
What's up, baby?
How you doing, bro?
You excited?
Yeah, I'm probably more tired if I'm being honest.
That's good.
Yeah, I've just I probably said it in several press things that I've done. I've definitely overworked myself. I haven't stopped since the temper fight.
It's honestly impressive, admirable, but also scary for me as a doctor to see how hard you push yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, I just, I don't know, I guess it's just how I am. I managed to, bro, you should see my schedule. I tell people it's like teletext. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, what's that?
Oh, it's kind of like a thing back in the day on TV that people would see to figure out what they wanted to watch on TV.
Like a TV guide type thing. Yeah.
Kind of, but it was like back in the day.
And it was just scrolling.
But yeah, it's just basically different colors of just like my schedule, and it's just like what I've got going on. And yeah, it was a lot. Like even after the fight, it's like I've got to promote this, and then I've got to do press. And then, yeah, it's a lot. But
I mean, people give me credit sometimes for doing a lot of things as a doctor, trying out the boxing thing, the YouTube thing, but you're doing it 10x that. Yeah. Because you're an entrepreneur, you're a musician, professional fighter, restaurateur. The list doesn't seem to end.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot going on. I think the one thing that everyone's always talking about is Prime.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going crazy.
Yeah, tell me about that. How did, what's the origin story behind Prime?
Origin story, it literally is Logan hit me up, in an instant DM being like, bro, I've got this idea.
Let's stop fighting.
Prime. Yeah, stop fighting. I've got this idea. Let's do Prime.
Yeah.
And I was very skeptical. I had to do my due diligence to make sure it's exactly what I wanted. And after a few months of a few back and forths, it was go time.
And now your retail sales, I heard on a recent interview, over 100 million.
Yeah, it's
200 million and some.
It's quite wild, the numbers. I can't lie. It's numbers I never thought I'd ever even fathom in my lifetime. Like even hitting 1 million in my life, I was like, I would never be able to do that. Or 100,000. So to be able to get way more than that, it's quite surreal. But I've got good people around me to keep me humble and grounded, so I don't just go off the rails.
Do you feel like if you didn't have them, you might go off the rails?
Oh yeah, I've definitely been close.
Really?
I've been very close, yeah.
Can you take me through one of those?
I think I had a guy called, I'll say his name, Joey. I won't say his full name, but a guy called Joey who definitely was up my ass and made me think I was the shit.
Ooh,
to the point where, to be honest, he's one of the reasons why I bought a Lamborghini. Okay. Yeah, he was just like, bro, you're making money. You should look the part. So I would always wear designers clothes. I'd always, look to buy the most expensive things left, right, and center. And I was just trying to spend more than I was earning. But, I was living that lifestyle. Even clubbing, I would spend 20K on a table, just like that, like it was nothing. And I was like, yeah, I'm the big baller. And I tried to get all the girls and all of that. So, yeah, it was just a lot of noise. And, nowadays I'm just so chill. I hardly ever go clubbing. I just don't enjoy it. I don't drive. I don't have a car. And I stay quite low key. Yeah, in general.
Isn't it funny how when we're younger, I'm sure both of us have experiences that's the stuff we work for or we get excited about. And the second we get it, we realize that ain't it.
Yeah, we realize that's not what's important in life.
And yet, the big people on social media, I hate to even mention the name Andrew Tate of the world, is trying to get people excited about that again. Whereas you and I are talking about it don't make that the end goal because it's not going to make you happy.
Yeah. And I feel like we can say as much as we want, but people are going to just believe what they want to believe and they're going to have to experience it themselves. So once they realize, I've got all the nice watch and all the girls and the expensive this, expensive that. And then they realize, but I still feel empty in life. I still feel like, I'm not happy, then that's when you start to realize, oh, okay, KSI was right, Dr.Mike was right.
That's true. Like hitting 10 million subs, getting expensive stuff,
Yeah,
earning
yeah.
hundreds of millions of dollars in your case. You start to realize the numbers aren't what drive happiness. So I'm curious, what drives happiness for you?
Bro, for me, legacy, man.
Really?
Legacy. I just want to make a difference and also just see how far I can go. I think, I've always had people tell me I'll never be able to reach a certain point in my life, or I'll never be able to do the things that I think I would be able to do. So I love proving people wrong. And that has always driven me. And that's, I guess, I've seen as my purpose. And with that, I'm able to just define what makes me me, and then just keep going and just see where it takes me. So, I felt like there was a ceiling with YouTube at the time when I'd reach, 10 plus million subscribers. So I ventured really into the music. I ventured really into the boxing and all these things to try and, get that mainstream like level of success. And then I think for me, it's just always just being able to just see how huge I can be as a person that started from nothing, 0 subscribers, see how far I can get in general. And then along the way, just try and help out as many people as possible. Like I've, from early, I would do collabs, not even expecting, stuff for stuff back.
Yeah.
I'll just do it because I wanted to do it and I just enjoyed it. So, I've been helping people throughout my whole life and throughout my whole journey. And I think it's, for me, I kind of just enjoy the whole journey. I think the whole journey in itself is what's so beautiful. Like me figuring out myself and me becoming, the best human being that I can become. I've made several mistakes, but then learning those mistakes and, making sure I better myself is what I think is what life is all about.
So it sounds like you want to maximize your potential as opposed to setting some arbitrary goal of numbers.
Yeah, no. So I don't have any numbers goal or anything like that. For me, it's just,
and maybe short term, it's okay. Like, I'm excited for this to hit X. But then,
no, of course.
Yeah.
But then after, like, I think for me, I just needed more. So for me, it's always just, okay, there's no end goal when it comes to being the best human possible. So I think that's something I needed, something where it wasn't a point where you got to it and that's it. Yeah. I kind of needed something that I'll never be able to get, but during the journey, I'll be able to enjoy.
And I watched your documentary. How much of a role do you think your dad's sort of influence on your life plays in this?
Yeah, I think his influence is very heavy, especially when it comes to the hard work. He's always told me that nothing in life is easy. Life is hard. There's ups and downs, and you just got to figure it out, especially when things don't go your way. So a lot of times, when things don't go my way, I just figure it out. I'm a very laid back, chill guy, and if shit hits the fan, I just keep it moving.
Can you tell me an episode when that's happened? That your dad's advice rang true? I
think when I broke my hand or broke my nose in sparring, and a few people were thinking, oh, maybe you should just not do the fight, blah, 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 blah. But I was just like, nah, like I know who I am, I can do it, I can get through it. So something as simple as that, like, I mean, there's several options. I'm just, you put me on the spot. So
no, of course, yeah.
But,
he obviously pushed you to work hard. I have the same with my immigrant father mindset. You know, going through, I can't was like his typical saying.
Yeah.
What about the fact that you feel maybe there wasn't enough nurturing there, where maybe the support was not in the way you expected it to come?
Well, yeah, no, I think, as a guy that has definitely looked at other families, especially in the Western world, how their parents have treated their kids, I think I definitely looked at that and went, I feel like I'm missing that loving sensation. I guess my parents would say that they showed their love through, housing me and through feeding me and through get me into school, etc. Whereas, the actual affection of just like hugging and saying that, I love you, like I definitely missed out on that. But I feel like, especially because of the doc as well, I'm working on, I'm working on improving that relationship with my parents to make sure that we're just, in the best possible position as a family. Because it's for them, they never really believed in like mental health or anything like that.
Sure.
Especially like my mom, she just she thinks of witchcraft or something like that, and it's like nah. But
I mean, if they're not exposed to it, can you blame them?
Yeah, well, it's a different generation.
Completely
I
different
think
generation.
with that generation, they didn't even know what mental health was.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a thing. Whereas for us, we've definitely...
Well, because it's like get food or worry about how you feel. Like,
exactly.
That you- you-
and they
how do you
don't
decide that?
really have time to
Yeah.
worry about how they feel. They just have to do.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand the situation and where they came from, and that's why I'm not too hard on them, and that's why I'm always
That's
just
awesome.
I'm just trying to always create a conversation, and I feel like that's the least you can do.
That's really powerful that you have that layer of insight to not blame them, to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Because that kind of problem that you and I are experiencing that they never did is truly what we call a problem of progress, where because we have a higher layer of safety, more access to food, less crime on the streets than there was 40 years ago, that we now have the worry of anxiety from nothing, like that we created ourselves in our own minds.
Yeah.
So do you ever struggle with that? Like anxiety of failure, anxiety of things not going your way?
I guess, I don't know if it's anxiety, but I definitely fear failure. But I think that's one of the reasons why I work so hard to make sure I don't fail, if that makes sense.
So it's like a power position for you.
Yeah, so I kind of, I'm a guy that sees it as like, okay, if I fear this, how can I overcome this fear? I don't try to run away from it. I try to tackle it head on. So I think for me that's pretty much worked for me in terms of everything that I've kind of focused on.
Sure.
And but it's an interesting point you mentioned. Yeah. I didn't really think of it like that.
Because looking at you, you're incredibly mature for your age. And I feel like if you're in the world of social media at a young age, not just witnessing it as an observer, but being in it as in front of the camera, it causes you to mature faster.
Yeah, 100%.
Or break down faster, like one or the other.
Yeah,
it just speeds up, like there's a gasoline under the fire.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel that?
Yeah, no, definitely. When I was around, 18, 19, getting onto the internet, and I was just in my own bubble, and I was just be doing random videos, just, basically my fan base were just goading me into just doing whatever.
Okay.
And it was fine. Like, I just thought,
Views. Fuck it.
views,
Yeah.
who cares? Who cares about people's feelings, etc. I'm just gonna get views, and that's all that matters. And then once I really stepped out into the real world, I understood like the influence and how much power I actually had, and how I needed to like use that for good as much as possible. And I feel like over the years I've definitely improved on that, and to the point where when I started, I didn't want to become a role model. I just wanted to make content. Whereas now I know I am a role model. I know a lot of people are inspired by me.
Yeah.
So, I tell people, I am only human, so I'm going to make mistakes. But I always try to be the best role model I can be and just always improve on everything. And if I do make a mistake, I make sure I rectify that. And then I move on and never make it again. And that's, going back to my previous point about being the best human possible. That's how I just constantly level up myself. And it's obviously it's a lot of pressure to do that in front of the camera.
Yeah.
In front of the world, but I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah. No, you're doing amazing. I mean, obviously that's why we
Yeah.
started talking about with all your successes first and foremost. The analogy that I sort of think about this in, and I'm curious if you relate to it at all.
Yeah.
Where, even if you're the best driver in the world, if a cop is following you long enough, you're going to break a rule. You're going to go 1 kilometer or 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. You'll drive on the line.
Yeah.
So if they follow you long enough, they'll catch a mistake.
Yeah.
And I feel like being on social media is like having the entire police force following you at all times.
At all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you can't make a single mistake.
Yes.
I think it's starting to become a bit more relaxed, but this is just personally.
Yeah.
But I think there was definitely a period a few years ago, especially during COVID, where it was just very just everyone was just on you, and like cancel culture was going crazy. Like anything you did, like everyone was scared to even say anything.
Yeah.
Just in case they could piss someone off, and then that could ruin your whole career because of it. So yeah, I think, you know, over the years, people are starting to realize that we're all human and that no one is perfect.
Well, because if we continue that, everyone's going to get canceled.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
like,
every
literally.
single person in the world should be canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't believe in this idea that we should worship people because, you know, they're just people.
Yep.
Simple as that.
We're not robots.
Exactly.
And I think it was a consequence of the time. We're all sitting at home, so we're all itching for something to happen.
Yeah.
There's no other news happening, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's at home.
Yep.
So the second that anything a little juicy came out, everyone's like,
Everyone's just like, yes, finally,
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yes.
Entertainment.
So that was kind of upsetting, but I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm curious now that, like you talked about the launch of Prime, obviously huge success retail sales wise. How did you decide what to put into Prime? Was this, because like as a scientist, I'm curious about the whole process.
Well, I mean, for me, I was definitely really focused on hydration. You know, I drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of drinks. Well, I mean, mainly water is my drink. So,
that's good.
And it's funny. When Logan came up to me, I was like, bro, I was actually going to try and make my own hydration drink. Yeah. Because we don't really have like a Gatorade in England.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So we don't. Yeah. So it's, I think the only thing we can really compare.
So what do athletes drink in England?
So I guess.
Besides Prime, obviously.
Yeah. I guess it's more Lucozade Sport.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
but
never
like
heard
that's
of
it. You probably never heard of it.
Yeah.
And
interesting. So nothing really special.
There isn't really a segment for that in England. So
Interesting.
yeah, so
And you have some of the best sports teams in the world. You would expect.
well, that's why, you know, there's a gap in the market. So we were like, okay, let's go for it. But
yeah. I mean, the reason I point it out is because I'm always so curious what goes into the deliberation of what are the ingredients. And to me, a lot of people like put the question into my social media because I review a lot of myths online and I debunk supplements and miracle cures. I hate all that shit.
Yeah.
Like I take protein sometimes, maybe no vitamins, no no magic shit. Like I hate people.
I do take a few like vitamins and stuff like that. So like vitamin C, vitamin D. And
what do
all
you
of
hope that does for you?
Well, I guess I've read it online, like even something like ashwagandha and stuff like that. Like taking this every day is just like good for you, especially in England, for example, because the sun, we don't get to see it too many times. So I feel like just to get your daily dose of vitamin D is important. So, but what would you debunk that?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't debunk it because my goal is not to attack your beliefs and the reasons you're doing it.
Yeah.
My thought is more so, do we need it?
Okay.
And when we look at like real research on what is in our diets naturally, if we're eating a decently healthy diet, and I assume you are, you're a fit guy, so you would not ever come to the position where you're vitamin C depleted. Like you don't have enough vitamin C.
Okay.
And more is not better than enough.
Okay.
It's like basically asking a construction site to finish the construction faster if you deliver all of the equipment like earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's like limitations on how fast the body can make use of the vitamin C. And if it doesn't, it pees it out. So like when you, as someone who's an average healthy person, you're even more than an average healthy person, takes vitamin C, no joke, you're pissing it all away. And I can confidently say
Well,
that.
no, I guess I do see it because my piss is like orange, not orange, but like yellow.
Yeah.
And
so that's probably from the vitamin Bs that you take, or maybe the vitamin B that's in the.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like it totally happens. And as a result, the industry is deceptive in that.
Okay.
And I say that at my own expense.
Yeah.
Why? Because man, how much money I could make if I sold supplements.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, Oh my, I could say I'm a boxer.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in shape.
yeah.
It's all because of Dr. Mike's miracle potion.
Yeah, fair.
So
yeah.
like the amount of money we turn down, and it's so tempting to take money for those things, but they just honestly don't work. And that's why I started the YouTube stuff to
Okay.
tell. And there's instances where they do, and there's instances where you need them.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, maybe living in an area where you're not getting enough sunlight, and you check and your vitamin levels are low for vitamin D specifically. That could be a role.
Okay.
But even there, it gets tricky because what we define as low might be a little deceiving depending on which lab you go to. So there's a lot of like intricacies and it's super dense.
Well, even something as simple as like zinc.
Yeah.
Even zinc. And like I literally take it all, like from vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, ashwagandha, omega-3. Like I have a bunch of supplements I just take every single day.
Yeah,
and you're saying it's all pointless.
No, it's hard. It's hard for me to decide that right now because I'm also not your doctor. I don't know your medical conditions. Like for example, omega-3 has an indication if someone has high triglycerides in their blood, and they can't take a statin, and maybe omega-3s can help lower their triglycerides, which is the fat content in their blood.
Okay.
But like, you know, a tremendous athlete like yourself might benefit from that 1% potential improvement.
Okay.
But the average person on the street does not need that. And I would much rather they spend their money getting quality fruits, vegetables, joining a gym, getting access to running shoes, like, you know, things that real life people have.
Oh, fair.
So like, it's very tricky. And that's why I never say if something is all bad or all good. And when it comes to the ingredients of Prime, when people ask me like, you're a doctor, tell us what's the deal with this? And I'm like, well, it depends for who.
Yeah.
And when I think about a kid who's sitting at home playing video games, which it seems like a big portion of people who drink Prime are gamers or people who are just drinking it for fun.
I guess for us, it's kind of just like we target for everyone.
Sure.
Yeah, anyone can drink it. Like it's just a nice tasty drink for people to have. Yeah.
Because if you're replacing like a sugary soda with it, it's a good replacement in my eyes.
Well, yeah, that's kind of why like, yeah, especially like Coke is what a lot of people drink, or Pepsi, etc., Sprite. So it's kind of like for me to then just replace that with Prime, it's just so much better.
Sure, that's why I feel like people who make hate videos on it are really trying to get that clickbait. Like, screw you guys.
Yeah, well, I think we get all types of videos from whether it's hate or whether it's love. But like you know, with me, I'm quite an open book, so I kind of take everything in open hands. Sure. I've been on YouTube for several years, so I really kind of just enjoy what people say.
You've survived a lot already. You're like, I'm bulletproof, baby.
Yeah. So it's kind of just like, it is what it is. I know what I do, and you know, it kind of works for me. So.
Yeah. No. That's why I've always appreciated your approach in it, and never really could get onto the train of like starting beef in the YouTube boxing world. How do you do that as a nice guy? Like, well, because it seems like you're a nice guy.
Well, I think it kind of just happens, if that makes sense. I think it's also ego, competitiveness.
Okay.
I'm a competitive guy.
Yeah.
When Joella wanted to fight me, you know, and we had the little scuffle, I believed that I could beat him, and then he believed that he could beat me. So it's kind of like, obviously, there's a conflict there. So a great way to fix that is through boxing.
Sure. And,
you know, once that was done, it's, you know, there was respect after, but I think it's like, it shows like, yeah, like it's, why not? It's just this thing that,
flips a switch in you.
Yeah. And then I just had to just make sure like this man in front of me never beat me, or never beat me. So
yeah, well, you're doing great at that.
Yeah. I don't like losing. I hate losing.
Yeah, I hated it. I just lost.
I know, against Chris
Avila.
Yeah. How was that?
That was tough. Well, it was different leaving the YouTube boxing scene and fighting someone with a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the pro fighter guys that have fought other YouTubers were like retired or maybe later, like in their 40s. This guy was in his 20s. I'm 33.
Yeah.
So like it was a tough situation, but it really showed me how different styles can be. Even though I sparred, you know, pro MMA guys in the gym, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Stepping inside that ring and figuring it out in the ring if you don't have the experience.
Yeah. I feel like, I guess for me, I always feel like I could beat anyone. And
you have to have that.
But yeah, and I guess even with the sparring, the people that I spar, I make sure it's like the hardest of the hard, like to make sure that I'm prepared
for the worst situation.
Yeah. So, and also because cardio for me is king, and my style as well is it's a lot of pressure, and I just know I have power in both hands. So I know if I press you and hit you, eventually you're gonna go down. So I think that's why no matter who I fight, my style is probably the worst to be against.
It's a very annoying style. You have to be very patient to fight someone like
yeah, especially if it's like under the lights on the big stage. I feel like a lot of people crumble because of it. So
that's very true. So your fight with FaZe Temper went your way. Great knockout. Gotta give you props for that.
Thank you.
You know, what do you think the future of the YouTube boxing scene is? Because I know you and Misfits have so many events coming up.
Yes.
You're expanding this. Ever worried that this isn't going to go and expand and continue to grow as it is?
No, if I'm being honest, I think there's always going to be interest. You know, I think we want to expand to, you know, celebrities and expand to either musicians or maybe even politicians, you know, fighting each other.
You're going to get Republicans fighting Democrats.
You never know. Like, I think with Misfits, that's kind of what it's about. It's about people settling their beefs in the ring rather than on the streets, you know, with guns or knives, etc. So that's kind of what we want to do with that. And I feel like there's always going to be an interest for, you know, people to fight each other. Like, you know, boxing, it's been around for several years. And I feel like, you know, with our little section with Misfits, having just, you know, either influencers or celebrities boxing each other, you know, improving themselves, you know, in the gym just to be able to fight and then after be able to respect each other and improve their lifestyle because of it. I think it's a great thing.
I think that's actually happened a lot where you had people really be angry at one another and then after show respect.
Yeah.
Even in my fight with Chris Avila, he was kind of messed up to me leading up to the fight. But then after, you know, he apologized right away. Him and Nate Diaz and I came together. So that's cool. Are you and Dylan Dennis on good terms?
No. No, I don't talk to him.
No?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Why? Were you
well, because he pulled out of a fight that we were contracted to do.
And do you know why?
Because he got afraid. No, I truly.
Factually.
Yeah.
Because he put out that whole mysterious tweet where it was like, oh, you guys don't even know.
No, he just shit himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he realized that I'm the real deal.
Yeah. He heard a few rumblings from people saying that you're getting down.
No,
in the gym,
I think he just knew from the get-go that this was going to be tough, and then I guess he saw a few clips and realized, like, this is a long day. And to be honest, he probably made he definitely did make the right decision.
Wow, okay.
Because I mean, you saw what I did to Temper.
Sure.
Yeah, and Temper, you know, is a way better fighter, taller, rangier fighter, and I knew, you know, I had to really put the pressure on him because he's got that reach.
Speaking of Temper, how do you decide who you're fighting?
Honestly,
because that's like the one critique I'm gonna throw your way.
For me, I'm down to fight everyone. Like, I want to fight everyone, but the annoying thing is because of the Jake Paul fight, it kind of like there's always like this time frame that I have to reach where it's like, okay, you know, you can fight everyone, but you've got to fight Jake, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, all right. So then, can I fight Soul Pappy? And it's like, nah, because
that puts the Jake fight in jeopardy.
Paul, yeah. Oh wait, no, not in jeopardy.
No, but if you lose to Soul Pappy,
I'm not gonna lose.
I know, but I'm saying, is that the reason?
No, that's not the reason.
Oh, so what's the reason?
The reason
if you crush Soul Pappy, it's even a better fight.
No, because it pushes the Jake Paul fight back.
Oh,
yes. So
you're not fighting again until you fight Jake now?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, is there going to be no more KSI
after
fights until
Jake Paul? Yeah, I'm.
Well, no, before.
Before, no, I'm fighting again.
Before you fight Jake, you're saying there'll be another opponent before Jake?
Yes, yeah, I'm fighting in May.
Okay,
May 13th.
And you don't want to fight Soul Pappy?
I want to fight Soul Pappy,
but
my team are. No, honestly, no. My team are telling me you've got a Jake Paul fight end of the year, if you want to fight Jake Paul, then you're gonna have to fight an orthodox fighter before you fight Jake Paul. So with Dylan Dennis, I was training for a southpaw. He's a southpaw, so that's why when I fought, when he pulled out, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to. I've done all this training against southpaws. I've done all this sparring against southpaws. It wouldn't make sense for me to then just fight an orthodox fighter because it'll be like how I fought the 2 fights in one night against Swarms and Pineda.
Yeah.
So, I prepared for a certain fight and then I had to prepare for a new opponent. And Dylan didn't really give us too many weeks. He gave us 2 weeks to find an opponent. So Tampa was going to fight the mystery opponent, which was Pineda. And then,
oh my God, Pineda would have died.
Yeah. Well, I think Pineda versus Tempo is a pretty interesting fight.
Really?
Yeah. But
well, you made them look really bad.
well,
Like, you got to be honest in that.
But that's
Like you made Swarms and Pineda look terrible.
but that is me. That's how I do.
Got it.
Like I'm so beyond these guys that I make them look terrible. But then when they fight people who are not on my level, they actually like destroy their opponents.
But
I mean,
like-
look at Swarms.
Oh,
My man-
come on. That's
Bro,
what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, but he's
As a
still-
doctor, what am I
but
supposed to do?
still,
with
like
that? That
was a
wasn't
good
knockout punch.
Yeah, it was a good punch.
I don't know.
Bro, it fucked up his.
It was, my man hit him with millimeter accuracy. I don't
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's all it takes. It's a fight.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And Pineda, look at
but
Pineda.
yeah, I don't know. The
What
reason,
you mean you don't know?
The reason why I say I don't know is because when I look at them,
Yeah.
it's not that you were just much more skilled than them. You definitely were, no questions asked. I'm not taking that away from you. They're doing things that people who train a lot and spar a lot don't do. They're doing circles in the ring. They're like, I don't know, just things that like really, really amateurish people do.
I think it's because, so with Swarms, okay, obviously he called me out, said he'd knock me out.
Sure.
And that's why we entertained it. Because
I don't blame you for entertaining.
well, I mean, it's, I was meant to fight Alex Wasabi and he pulled out. Like, you've got to remember, all these people, I wasn't meant to fight Swarms and Pineda. I wasn't meant to fight Temper. I was meant to fight Alex Wasabi and he pulled out. I was meant to fight, and then he pulled out. So, like,
yeah, you're just trying to stick somebody
I'm dealing with the hands I'm dealt with.
Yeah.
And, I'm making it work. And, with my next opponent in May, I'm hoping he doesn't pull out.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where I just, what can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you also are thinking about this very strategically, which is way smarter than most people, myself included. I was like, oh, I fought a YouTuber. Let me fight an MMA guy with 25 fights.
Yeah.
So like,
But I feel like I could beat him.
yeah, I mean, I would love to see you
yeah.
take him on. And you guys are in the same weight class.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun fight.
Honestly, like, I feel like I can beat anyone.
Well, that's what you have to be. And I feel like that's why, like, if I had a weakness as a boxer, it's that. I don't have that.
Okay.
Where I'm like logical about it.
Yeah,
Like,
so
wow,
I saw
he
your
has a
video
lot of
where
fights.
you were kind of like second guessing yourself and all of that.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, I have full belief.
Killer, just
Yeah, I just know as soon as I get in that ring, it's over for my opponent.
got it.
Because he hasn't trained as hard as me. He doesn't want it as much as I want it. And he hasn't worked as hard as I have. So I just know, with everything that I've done, that no one can beat me.
That's awesome. Because usually I tell people to have humility, but not in boxing.
Yeah,
Like humility is the loss.
Nah, you
that
definitely do
take
not.
in
Yeah,
boxing.
yeah. But like, obviously, outside the ring, I'm humble and
Of course.
I'm chill. Yeah. But the ego is all in the ring, and you have to have that.
Yeah. Who do you think the most overhyped YouTube boxer is?
The most overhyped, Jake Paul.
No, come on. You're just saying that.
I'm not.
Come on.
I truly believe he's
No,
overhyped.
you do not believe that.
I do.
Jake Paul?
Yes.
Of all the people that are getting love right now
He's
in their top
very
fives.
overhyped.
Okay. So besides you and him,
Okay.
who's better than Jake Paul?
I think Soul Pape would be him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Soul Pape would just destroy him.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Jake Paul relies on the overhand. He relies on, I mean, his fighting style is very sloppy. It's he does well with combos, but he fights people who just don't have any pace, man. The pace of someone like Woodley.
Well, he fought older guys too.
Well, yeah, but like someone like Woodley, the pace is just terrible. Like Woodley just didn't put it on him.
Yeah.
And the one time he did, he almost, knocked him out.
Yeah.
So
And then backed off for some reason.
yeah, exactly. So, and then for what's his name, Anderson Silva, the pace again was just very sluggish. It wasn't for me. I'm there like for 6-8 rounds just on you. Like I've worked 8 rounds of just being able to be on you no matter what. So even if you hit me, I'll hit you back harder, and then I'll just keep doing this. And that's what breaks people. And then eventually they just go, fuck, I need to do this.
Yeah.
I need to protect myself. And then you turn into a body bag and I just go ham.
Shifting gears.
Yeah.
Alex Wasabi, iDubbbz. What do you think?
I think iDubbbz is going to win.
Why do you, because you have little respect for Wasabi because
Yes.
of the pullout?
Probably a bit of that, but I just don't rate him. Yeah, I don't think he's that good. I think he fights in straight lines. And I think you just need him.
But then your brother, what happened?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's my brother though. My brother he has all the talent, but just lacks the hard work.
Really?
Yeah, it's frustrating because I believe he can be better than me.
Wow.
But if he just doesn't work as hard as me, then that's one of the reasons why he's not at the level he should be.
Wow. Did you like Creator Clash 1?
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good event. And it's cool. It's like another part of a YouTube that just create this boxing event. And
Did you hear about it before, or only when they announced everything?
Only when they announced
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they kind of did it quietly, and I was surprised.
And then
at
it was
the
a
quality.
full stadium. I thought it was
Stadium.
sick. Yeah.
The quality of the production, the video, I was surprised.
Yeah.
And I was a part of it. Like my agent Keith was like, dude, when they were initially offering this to us, he's like, this isn't going to come together. You know that, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, nah.
No, it was a very good event.
Very good event.
Very
So
good event.
this one's going to be double the size, 20,000.
Yeah.
Is there a world where Misfits and Creator Clash ever come together?
I think that could be cool to do a Misfits X Creator Clash event. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. If I was a marketing person, that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this next Creator Clash does, because obviously it's a bigger stadium.
Yeah. I think it's going to do really well. And I think iDubbbz did not get enough credit for what he did in the ring there.
Yeah,
He was tough.
No, he seems it, but
He's very tough. And he, honestly, despite looking like Chris Avila hit me more, I think iDubbbz did more damage.
oh wow,
Yeah, like the next day after Chris Avila, I was fine. Like my rib was sore, but my face had no bruising.
Oh, fair.
iDubbbz, I had black eyes.
yeah. I
so-
mean, you guys went to war, man.
Yeah. So that was fun. And also the timing changed and all that was kind of
Yeah.
weird. I didn't know how to react to that in the ring because I'm like, wait, there's a minute left on the clock and he's kind of on the ropes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was a bit weird, but no, I thought it was a great event.
I think that's really
I'm
cool.
excited to watch the next one.
There was a question I wanted to ask you about, you've done Prime, you've done this boxing thing, you've crushed YouTube. Now you're a singer. Voices is fire.
Yeah.
Like I didn't expect to like it.
Oh, okay.
Being full honest, because I didn't know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm not exposed to your music.
Well, I think because I have so much going on, a lot of people don't realize I also just do music as well.
And dude, this is crazy. Some international beef or drama that's happening across the world in social media. Not enough Americans are aware of you.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
Yeah.
Yet your fan base is monster.
Yeah.
And when I talk to people like you're coming on the podcast or something, because they live in the American bubble, they're not aware of your work. And
Yeah.
I feel like that actually bodes in your favor.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that. I'd much rather people listen to me because of the music being good rather than listening to me because I'm
They're fans,
KSI. Yeah, so it definitely works. You know, me working with Oliver Tree, I've really enjoyed the whole process, and the song, it's just doing its thing. It's getting a lot of streams, and it's cool. Like it's just slowly growing while I'm doing everything else. Yeah. So yeah, it's the music video was jokes, and Oliver is just an interesting character for sure. Yeah, you either love him or hate him, and a lot of my fan base hate him.
Really?
Yeah, but I think it's cool when you have someone who is able to evoke an emotion from people, because there's a lot of people who just don't really evoke any emotion. It's kind of just mid, and it's just like that. But to have someone truly like love you or truly hate you, it shows that the person is definitely special.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of say in like what the music video looks like? All that?
No, I let Oliver deal with everything.
'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you have inspo from Napoleon Dynamite on the music video?
So I think this is all Oliver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oliver just took charge.
Wow.
Yeah, he was quite hands-on. So he instantly came through with a massive batch of ideas, and it had a whole script ready and everything. And I was like, oh, wow, okay then. So I didn't really want to mess up with his idea or his point of view when it came to the music video. So I kind of just let him take charge.
Yeah. I have a heavy question for you, if you'll let me.
Okay.
Boxer,
Yep.
entrepreneur, restaurateur, all those things that we said. It's your eulogy.
Okay.
Write it. Say it right now. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, wow. That is a bit deep. Okay. I want to be remembered as the guy that had nothing, 0 subscribers, but a dream, self-belief, and was able to become, I don't know what, the massive entertainment entrepreneur, businessman that he's become today. Yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't want that written. Maybe something a bit more eloquently done.
A little poetic.
Yeah.
Maybe
more,
have Drake read it.
Yeah. Maybe have him write or some shit like that. But yeah, I think the idea that, I push this to all my audience, no matter who you are, no matter what, where you come from, you can be someone in this world and you can really, get somewhere in life. All you got to do is work hard, have a bit of luck, stay disciplined, stay consistent. I always tell my audience I'm not talented, and I still believe that. I'm not. I was a clean slate when I started this, and I just worked on every part of my life, every aspect of my life, from the boxing to the music, to rapping, to the singing, to everything, just creating videos. Like, I just started from nothing, and I learned and I improved and got better and better over the years. And now I'm able to, just be this thing that I am right now. So
this monster that will never lose in the boxing ring ever.
Well, yeah, that's it.
You're like, I have no talent except no one will ever beat me in boxing.
Well, it's true. Well, it's
how do you have both thoughts at the same time?
Well, it's all this. It's all mental, man. Like, big up my therapist, Siobhan. She really helped me understand my mind and, really take charge of what this is, because this is the most powerful thing in the world, man. This can allow you to do anything, literally. And I truly believe that because I have such great control on my mind, that's why I'm in this position. And you just have to train it. Even as simple as me, trying to get a PB on a 10K on the treadmill. And so many times throughout me running, I'm there like, I want to give up. I want to stop. I want to just go on the sides, or I want to just pretend to fall over, especially my trainers are there. I just want to, this is painful. This sucks. I hate it. But then mentally, I still just push through it, because I'm like, at the end, you're going to really like be so happy that you finished this and got a new PB, etc. So yeah, I think for me, it's always just being able to push through and be able to survive in hell. I think there's several times, especially with boxing. I think that's why I love it so much. That there's so many times where I'm in hell and it fucking sucks, but I'm able to survive there.
Yeah, that self-talk is so positive.
Yeah.
It's ironic because it's coming through a really dark time.
Yeah.
That is constructed. Like, we always talk about how you can grow from traumas and difficult moments.
Yeah.
And some people don't have a lot of those because they're lucky and not a lot of bad things have happened. But being on the treadmill on a fast speed when you're exhausted, you can simulate a very dark place.
Exactly.
And then overcoming it feels just as good.
Yeah. And I think that's just how you grow as a human. You need to, not that you should be searching to suffer, but stuff like that. Struggle helps you grow. Yeah. I think if you never struggled in life and if it was just easy, it'd be boring.
Yeah.
Life would be very boring. So
Yeah. What, if you don't mind sharing with the audience, because I think it breaks a lot of the stigma. What did you work on with your therapist that you said you've been able to change your mindset or your mind?
I think
to
for
work
me,
better?
I just tried to figure out what my purpose in life was or what my values are. So, something in my childhood, I would always say yes because my parents, if I ever said no, would just hit me or beat me. It's just simple as that. So I always mentally would always say yes to everything. And even on YouTube, I'd say yes to things, always saying yes, pleasing people. And my therapist was like, you have to learn to say no. You have to learn to disappoint people because you need to be selfish. You need to find time for yourself. You're constantly giving all this energy out to people so that by the end of the day, you have nothing left for yourself. So, over the years now, I've really learned to say no a lot. And I've learned to just really just have time for myself because I know I'm an introverted person. I understand myself. I'm an introverted person. I have an energy bar in life. And I feel like once that runs out, I need to be by myself.
Sure.
And I make time for myself because of that. And something as simple as me just being in my house, just playing games, it's just like the best
Refreshing.
feeling. Refreshing.
Yeah.
It's just nice. And even right now, I brought my Xbox with me to America. And after all the press that I do, I just come back to the hotel room and I just play Overwatch online. And just stuff like that just really just helps me.
Who do you main? Who do you main?
Who do I main?
Yeah.
I main whatever I need to main.
Wow.
to
So
win.
you're just like a Phil.
Yeah. So I play Mercy or I'll play Sombra. I'll play Diva.
Wow,
I'll play
okay.
Reinhardt.
everything.
Yeah, I literally I realized for me to be either a grandmaster, I need to learn how to be good.
What's your rank right now?
I'm a diamond.
Diamond. I'm diamond
Yeah.
too. I'm a diamond Moira.
Amora.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, I'm a doctor, so I got to heal.
Yeah, of course.
Although I DPS Moira sometimes.
Oh
too.
yeah. No, she can be fucking annoying,
Yes.
man. Yeah.
Although with
especially
Overwatch
Mora.
2, having one less tank in most cases, it makes her a little bit less useful as a healer.
No, I think especially with the new update, she's quite powerful.
Okay, I haven't played it.
Yeah. But obviously, I feel like Mercy is definitely someone you always have to have
on the team.
Yeah,
for sure. That's funny that we both game. Well, A, I relate to all of your struggles. B, I think despite you being an introvert and being very limited on time, I'm appreciative that you showed up today.
No.
So thank you for
I think I've learned to also be an extrovert as well.
Okay.
I think that's why I'm able to be okay in front of the camera and not be like, oh shit. It's just again improving myself as a human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, thank you for
it's so good.
coming
It's
on.
so good.
Well, last question before we do a little reflex round.
Reflex.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lightning round, but we're a medical thing. So it's
okay.
Reflex.
Pretty about to hit my knees and shit.
No, we're checking your boxing reflexes. You ready? Who's your person?
Who's my person?
Yeah. Whatever that means to you.
I mean, instantly it was my girlfriend. That's the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah.
But I won't say her name.
No, I'm not trying to get a juicy detail out of you. I'm just trying to sort of figure out how, because we need that. We need the support system.
Yeah.
That's so crucial.
She's my rock. Yeah. Without her, I legit wouldn't be in this position. I would be a very lost human being. Yeah.
So when you're traveling and doing all this, you guys still...
I talk to her every day.
Wow.
Every single day. Yeah. She's...
And you managed to keep
life.
it on the DL.
Yep, I know. Very hard.
Props. I don't know how you
I know. Yeah, we make it work.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank
to
you.
the
Who's
both
your
of you.
person?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to say something corny like my dog Bear, but my person has changed over the years because I went in and out of relationships.
Yeah.
And I've lost friends because of relocations and things like that. People moved around. Right now, it's funny because...
Your cameraman.
No. Actually, these guys are probably my people because we spent a lot of time together. But it's probably my dad because despite my dad being a very strict parent who also didn't show a lot of affection, we've been through a lot together. when I was in medical school, let me just give you like a 20-second summary. We came to America when we were 6. My dad went to medical school for a second time, residency for a second time in America, in a new language, learned the language, did it all to get our family back on our feet. We were on welfare, broke. Okay. And then he finally got a level of success. And I'm in medical school. He's so proud. He's excited. And my mom dies.
Oh, shit.
So 25 years of marriage, finally went through this terrible, overseas journey. And then everything's lost for him.
Mad.
So like, some people probably would awkwardly judge me for this, but after my mom passed away, for that first week, I slept in the same bed with my dad.
Yeah.
Because we were both in a really bad
I fully
place.
understand that.
So
yeah.
It was rough. And because we grew through that together, we have a level of understanding and respect for each other that I think most father and son combos might not have.
Yeah.
Because of the things we've experienced, the successes and failures we both had. So it's unique in that way.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, so probably deeper than I thought I was going to go.
It's beautiful.
Okay, let's do our quick little lightning round here.
Oh, hit me.
Okay.
How much of it is boxing related?
None of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is me checking your reflexes. All right,
okay.
Question 1. What's the healthiest part of your body?
Probably...
Don't say anything dirty.
Okay then. I'd say my lungs.
Okay. One part of your body you wish you could replace.
You
could say you're perfect. I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't replace anything. I think I'm happy with who I am.
You've reached nirvana, so props to you.
Oh wow.
I don't know. All right. What's one thing that raised your blood pressure this week?
This week that raised my blood. I don't.
Because this is the checkup. Like I'm giving you the checkup. Like what raised your blood pressure?
Just probably whenever I lose a game on Overwatch.
Okay.
Yeah, just people just
I know
pissing me off.
Rage quit or something. Yeah.
Not even rage quit. Yeah. Just
won't peel for you as mercy.
Well, people whenever I'm fucking support and no one protects me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, you need me.
Okay, I feel you. What's one item you'll bring with you to the afterlife?
You can't bring anything to...
Well, if you could. This is imaginary. It's basically what's the most important item to you, but we phrased it in a cool way.
Oh, okay.
Don't say your Xbox.
What? Honestly, I have no idea. I've never really thought of anything like that. Because I know I can't bring anything. So I'm like,
you could. I give you a pass right now.
If I could,
I'll give you a doctor's note to bring something.
But then I don't know what I'd want to bring. Like,
that's the question.
The internet.
Oh,
yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, okay. I think that'd be pretty interesting. So when I die, I still get to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Okay, you have like a hack. All right, have you ever almost died?
Probably every time I've been in the ring.
Really?
No. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been close to death. I don't know. Maybe I have. Maybe I've been close to death several times and I just wouldn't realize. I don't fear death.
Okay.
Yeah, if I die, I die. It's just that I'll just dab my way to the to the graveyard, man.
Well, I will say that the question was put there so that we could say we're glad you didn't die and that you were able to come in for the checkup. Okay, yeah. So where can people learn more about you?
Check out my music. I've got a few albums. I've got a new song, Voices, Oliver Tree. Oliver Tree says it's his worst song ever. So you can be the judge.
God, you're so good at promo.
Yeah.
I want to watch it again just to see why it's his worst.
Got Prime. It's a drink that people enjoy. Be sure to check that out if you're able to find it. I've got The Sideman. We make random YouTube videos. It's pretty funny. I make YouTube videos. I've got 2 channels, one music, one other channel where I just do random things, from Try Not to Laugh to me just looking at Reddit to me playing football sometimes. Once every like 5 years. With The Sidemen, we've got XIX, vodka. We've also got Sides, which is like a food restaurant thing where you can order on Deliveroo. I don't know, for Americans, what would it be? Do you have Deliveroo in it?
Seamless, Grubhub,
Uber
Eats. Yeah.
Okay, Uber Eats. Yeah. Well, I think we're working on getting it over into America.
All right, so we'll see you next year on the podcast when you're a billionaire. Got it.
All right, yeah, basically. Yeah.
So KSI has stepped out, and it's time to debrief with my producer, Sam Bowers.
How you feel?
We have KSI's DNA on the Prime. We can clone him.
This is it right here. Finally, we'll be able to move some merchandise using the intelligence that comes off this DNA.
Overall, great interview, great guy. Happy to help him promote his stuff. So
You guys could legit play Overwatch together.
we could play Overwatch together. I don't know. Like, I'm going to DM him afterwards and
Because our
tell
Overwatch
him that
video
he's a cool
just
dude.
our Overwatch video just came out,
I
and
know.
I was like, "Oh, we are primed."
And
to
he
discuss
watches
this.
Phil DeFranco, who's a friend of the channel. Yeah, which is
Well,
awesome.
he's KSI's been on YouTube for like a
Yeah,
long time, so he's back when Phil DeFranco was like one of the titans.
Yeah.
Not that he's not a big deal today, but like he's such an OG. How about a medical question
For me or for him?
from the podcast reviews?
Let's ask a medical question.
Yes. So please go leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
We need reviews.
That's how we grow
And ask
the pod.
questions in your reviews.
That's right. Leave a medical question. So I have a medical question here from you. This is from Dog Liver 2023.
Okay, sounds like a legit name.
I have to wonder if they meant to say Dog Lover 2023.
No, because there are liver treats that dogs are obsessed with.
Oh, is that true?
So maybe yes.
Okay, did not
But
know
it could
that.
be dog lover too.
Okay, so Dog Liver 2023 says, "Great podcast. Hey, Dr. Mike, can concussions have after effects? Like, can they cause you to get more headaches more easily than you did before? P.S. I've learned so much from your show."
Yes. And it also depends how much time and healing has gone on from the concussion that you're discussing. Like, we always worry about putting people back into the game or back into a match after they had their first concussion, because the second concussion is always worse. Medically, anatomically, everything becomes more dangerous. And if you return back to sport too soon, not even in the same game, but maybe in a few days, and get another concussion, the symptoms that you have after that second concussion last way longer. Sometimes it's months following the second concussion. So you got to be really careful. And then obviously we have all this new research coming out on chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is CTE, the thing we always hear about in the NFL, where from rattling your head and constantly having this trauma to the brain, people have issues with balance, mood, memory. All of that is an absolute reality and a risk that these people are taking to be athletes. So it's definitely a trade-off. And I think as we learn more, we're going to be able to, better detect this early on, and then B, to sort of act in a preventive fashion where maybe we limit the number of hits someone can take, snaps someone can take, like we have with baseball pitchers, or even design safety gear that's better right now. Although I still maintain that the best safety gear is always something that makes the sport more dangerous, because then you're more likely to take care.
Thanks for the 5-star review, Dog Liver 2023.
Yes, we appreciate you. Keep watching, and we appreciate you being supporters of the Checkup. As always, stay happy and healthy.